Clement arguing on behalf of tech companies about the difference between moderation and censorship.
I want to just ask you this. If somebody in 1917 was prosecuted and thrown in jail for opposing U.S. participation in World War I, was that content moderation?
So if the government's doing it, then content moderation might be a euphemism for censorship.
The tech companies argue their First Amendment rights are being violated. Republican lawmakers who supported the new laws in Texas and Florida say platforms are disproportionately restricting conservative views. Nikki Haley holding a rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan this afternoon ahead of tomorrow's primary after losing over the weekend.
Former President Trump is expecting a big win here in Michigan, and if the polls leading up to tomorrow are correct, he could win by an even larger margin than he did in South Carolina against the former governor of that state, Nikki Haley. In many ways, the former president is looking past Michigan, even looking past Super Tuesday to November.
Fox Business's Grady Trimble in Detroit. On the Democratic side, some progressives are urging voters to choose uncommitted, not President Biden, frustrated over his Mideast policy as fighting continues in Gaza. The proposed merger of grocery giants Kroger and Albertsons is now being challenged in court by the Federal Trade Commission, arguing the nearly $25 billion deal would eliminate competition and lead to higher prices for millions of Americans. 2 states had already sued and more joined today's lawsuit. Kroger has promised to invest $500 million to lower prices. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Chris Riccobono, founder of Untuck It. When I started the brand, I wanted to make the perfect fitting untucked shirt. And over the years, we changed the way guys think about how they dress. The secret was our obsession over fabric quality, listening to what our customers wanted and making everything fit perfectly. Our fit team has mastered pants, polos, sports coats, and more, so we've got you covered from head to toe. Try what millions of guys already know and love. Shop today at untuckit.com or our 80-plus stores worldwide.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app, so climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The surge of spring continues all afternoon with strong winds, lots of sunshine, 75 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, still windy all night long. Mild, 58 for the low. Tuesday, still ahead of the front, partly sunny, very windy, record warmth near 80 degrees. Tuesday, 79. Rain and thunderstorms Tuesday evening. Some could be strong to severe. Colder late night, 35. The high Wednesday, only 39, 40. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Let's listen in on a modern-day marriage proposal. The players lit their smartphones. The young man pledges his true love to the woman of his dreams. She accepts. They exchange kissing emojis. There are some hearts. Very nice. Well, look at this. He's putting his phone down. I don't believe it. He's got a box from Diamonds Direct. Well, now she puts her phone down. Oh, unbelievable. That, folks, shows how special a diamond from Diamonds Direct is. 2 people have put their phones down. He slips the Diamonds Direct diamond on her finger. She kisses him. Human contact, ladies and gentlemen. Who knew a Diamonds Direct diamond was capable of revolutionizing the virtual universe? And look at this. Her phone is ringing and she's still looking at her Diamonds Direct diamond. Oh, what's next? Tweets from actual birds? Amazing things really do happen when you give her a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Come in today and see how we can help you download real emotion. Details, store hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Your love, our passion.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense reports for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integrations, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who have switched to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers. And you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back. We have breaking news this morning. RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel will step down on March 8th. We were expecting this. McDaniel released this statement, quote, "It has been the honor and privilege of my life to serve the Republican National Committee for 7 years as chairwoman to elect Republicans and grow our party."
So that's the news this morning. Some of the news this morning. There's actually quite a bit. And Ronna McDaniel is going to step down after Super Tuesday, which is not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. And, it's, I think, a pretty big deal for the Republican Party. But really, what does the Republican National Committee's chairwoman do? That's a question that I have for you today. And I want to know if you care who that person is. Do you know who Ronna McDaniel is? Do you have a strong feeling about Ronna McDaniel? And I think that in a bit here, I don't know if it's going to be in this segment or the next segment, I'm going to take your phone calls and ask you, if you were the party chairman, what you would do with that opportunity. What direction is important for you to see the Republican Party head in this election? But of course, broader than that, we need to know what it's going to look like in the next 10 years, in the next century. That's what we should be thinking on a broad scale. So on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll, does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman, yes or no? And if you're a Democrat and it matters to you who serves or doesn't serve as the DNC chairperson, certainly come vote with us on the Annie Fry YouTube as well. The Fox News report says Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel will formally resign her position after the March 5th Super Tuesday primaries, weeks after former President Trump asked her to step down. The announcement comes weeks after Trump revealed his recommendations for changes within the RNC earlier this month. He proposed that North Carolina GOP Chair Michael Whatley, I hope, anybody correcting me on that? You want to correct me for the sake of correcting me?
Waitley.
Okay. Make it so. That the North Carolina GOP chair take over as chairman while his daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, and campaign senior advisor Chris LaCivita also receive leadership positions. Ronna McDaniel said, "It has been the honor and privilege of my life to serve the RNC for several years as chairwoman, to elect Republicans and grow our party. I have decided to step aside at our spring training on March 8th in Houston to allow our nominee to select a chair of their choosing. The RNC has historically undergone change once we have a nominee, and it has always been my intention to honor that tradition." She also said, "I remain committed to winning back the White House and electing Republicans up and down the ballot in November." I'd have to say, knowing that Donald Trump was pushing her out, it is notable that the chairperson generally changes quite a bit. Mm-hmm. It's not something that is like a generationally inherent. Oh wait, she's Mitt Romney's niece. I don't know how that works. There's more turnover there than Ronna McDaniel has participated in already, and it really does seem like she's not making a lot of waves on the way out. I was listening to Brian Kilmeade before our show started here on 97.1 FM Talk, and he was discussing the reality that, or was that on Outnumbered? I go back and forth. But they were talking about how, it was Brian Kilmeade, when Harmeet Dillon challenged Ronna McDaniel for that chair position, they dug into the finances of the RNC, and they discovered there is a lot of spending on what maybe you and I might consider to be frivolous luxury things, and it really hurt small donor giving. The big donors are going to give. The big donors are going to show up. They're going to use their economic influence to try to make change. Everybody does it on both sides of the aisle. When you're a wealthy person and you have the opportunity to influence in that way, you don't often pass up the chance to do it. But if you're making $80,000 a year in your household and you really care about the safety and security of our southern border, you really care about the infiltration of fentanyl into our country, you really care about the far, far overreach of super woke left government reaching in to tell you how to parent your kids and wedging themselves in between you and your children. When you care about these things, you want to make a change too. And it might be a $25 donation maybe every month that you give to the RNC. And that matters to you, but that $25 might be a sacrifice. And when you see that they're spending it on, the one line item that sticks out to me was the flowers that they were buying, because that to me always seems superfluous. Why do you need to have so much flora around to get people to vote red? Like, not necessarily ride shares, but like luxury travel and a lot of very expensive food, so on and so forth. Hard to persuade middle-class America to look at what you're spending that money on and go, well, I'd rather spend that $25 on a really nice, bouquet of flowers that I pick up at Walmart when I go make my shopping trip and put it on my kitchen table. I think that $25 is the nice. I think they have green. Is green the color at Walmart that is the nicest bouquet of flowers? Do you know?
As a person who buys a lot of flowers, yeah.
When was the last time you bought your wife flowers?
Oh, probably within the last year.
Probably.
Yeah. Easy.
What you're saying is it might be time.
It's always time for
That's
me.
Right. That's
there
right.
you go.
Maybe, probably within the last year. It's just not connecting. And so, you have to ask yourself, do you know what the RNC chairperson does? And if you don't know, is that in and of itself a problem? Maybe it's more of an administrative position. A lot of times these things find their way into the influencing space, be it through cable news broadcasts and a lot of punditry and being out there in the face of the Republican Party. But I kind of think that the face of the Republican Party needs to be your candidate. It needs to be the person you're trying to get elected. And in my mind, certainly the position of chairperson has to be to raise money like there's no tomorrow, because that's the name of the game. And from what I understand, the Republican Party is not doing that well right now. And when I think about the Republican Party not doing well right now, if you're listening to this right now and say, I wouldn't give to the Republican Party, what would it take for you to give to the Republican Party? If you were in a position to influence the direction of the RNC and therefore the Republican effort in this country, what's the number one thing that you think that they're getting wrong or that they're missing entirely? Leave some comments on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Come say hi and also vote. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Ryan, I'll ask you first. Does it matter to you who serves? But if you had the opportunity to influence either in policy or in focus, maybe, what would you do?
First of all, yes, it does matter who serves. It absolutely matters, and not just from the public facade angle. It matters because of the boots on the ground angle and how much money they collect and how much money they dole out and where they dole it out. What I would focus on policy-wise, changing what they're focusing on, is getting out, and you need Trump to do this, but I think that he is willing to do this, and I get the sense that he already is kind of moving in that direction. Getting out early vote. And not just saying get out your vote with mail-in ballots, because people are still very wary of mail-in ballots, but getting out the early vote, even in person, because that is very, very possible. People can vote early in person, and maybe that's where they have to plant and say, look, if you can't be there, or if you don't want to wait until election day to vote, because we know how many times a snowstorm happens or a whatever, your kid gets injured, you can't make it, whatever. Vote early in person. You can do that, and that's the message.
What do you think, Brad?
Well, I do think that the person matters because they kind of set forth the agenda. But I think what the Republican Party needs to do is look at the machine that is the Democrat Party to see how that they do things. And to me, the number one thing that they need to do, this is along the lines of what Ryan is saying, is ground game, getting out the vote. Get out the vote. They need somebody that can go in there and identify what states have vote harvesting laws that allow you to vote harvest, and then go out and do that. Build the machinery to do that. Beat the Democrats to the votes that they need to beat them to. You know, again, like Ryan was saying, early voting, registering voters, because ultimately that's what wins elections is votes. It's not money, it's votes. Now, to do all of that stuff, you need money, so that's why fundraising is important. But I think people are more willing to part with their money if they see that you have a plan and a ground game and all of that other stuff. I'm going to drop a name here, but if I were the RNC chair, I would go tap Scott Pressler, and I'd be like, how do we start registering people to vote? And then I would throw the full power of the RNC behind his efforts.
A lot of people want Scott Pressler to be the RNC chairperson. I don't think Scott is the RNC chairperson. That's not what he needs to do. He needs to advise the person who is the RNC chairperson, just like you were saying. Here's where I think that it completely and totally matters who the chairperson is. And it's not specifically about money. It's not specifically about, your eyes off the ball because you're looking over here when you should be looking over there. I think the Republicans are solid on the message on the southern border and pretty specific. And I think it's been, a super losing issue for the country and unfortunately a winning issue for Republicans to be consistently strong on the southern border. Marie Harf was on Outnumbered today, and boy, she was struggling trying to push the very weak sauce narrative of Joe Biden saying, what he's been saying here regularly, that the House needs to act on the Senate bill. Why won't the Republicans do this? It's been sitting there and they won't vote on it. Why won't the Republicans support this? Joe Biden needs, and everyone's like, no, that's just not it. He's the arsonist. He can't be the fireman here. He came in and he wrecked everything that was in place. And every single year he's beat his own record of most people coming into this country illegally. Every single year. And we are in a Class A disaster right now because of Joe Biden. The Republicans, to the same tune that the Democrats and Joe Biden continue to say the Republicans need to be in the House, need to get on board and sign the funding for Ukraine and for Israel so that they can get to the other things. The same thing can be said about the Republicans who have passed H.R. 2 and the Senate won't take it up. And with all of that being said, Joe Biden doesn't need anybody to get done what needs to get done. He should start enforcing the laws that are on the books. He should start looking at the southern border and saying, hey, listen, if these yahoos in Congress can't get anything done for the American people, I'm going to get it done. And that's why you need to reelect me to be the president once again, because when it comes down to it, doing the hard thing, the difficult thing to keep you safe in the United States of America, I'm not going to let partisan politics push me around. And this is what I have the power to do. And I'm going to use my power as the executor, as the president of the United States to its fullest extent, because the most important thing in this country is our safety and security. Not on my watch, some might say. But like the feckless leader that Joe Biden is, he just sits there and waits for other people to do the job. Imagine reelecting that guy. Here's what the Republican Party needs to do. And here's what they have not done, in my opinion, since 2016. Come out with an across-the-board, unified message that Donald Trump is going to be the next president of the United States, that America First is the method which we are going to bring back our country, that the idea of America first and making America great is inherently an American ideal. It's not a Republican idea. But if the Democrats don't want to stand for America first, and if the Democrats aren't interested in making America greater, the Republicans will be there to do it. And that Donald Trump is the guy for the job at the right time. And we are gracious to him that he's willing to endure what these Democrats and their bureaucratic justice system will try to do to take him out, because the biggest threat to the Democrat Party is the idea that America should come first. And if America comes first, then we will therefore be able to help the world with the prosperity that America enjoys when America's the hardest. And if the Democrats want to stand in that way, and if you want more unstable environment in Ukraine because of Russia, if you want more unstable environment, I don't care which side you're talking about. If it's in Israel or Hamas, with Hamas in Gaza, whatever it is on the Democrat side, it's hard to tell where the sympathy is coming from the left on any given day. If you want stability in the Middle East, we will stand by our ally in Israel, and we will ensure that there is stability in the Middle East. People don't even talk about what's going on in Africa. And if you look at the instability of what's going on in Central America, all the way down to South America, and how it's flooding northward up over our southern border, and we're just supposed to sit here and absorb it because we're supposed to feel bad about something that is inherent in the existence of America? No, that's not what Republicans do. We love our country. We're the best country on the face of the planet. We have a lot of room for improvement, and due to the last 3.5 years, even more so. But if you want a safe and secure border, if you want to parent your own children and tell the government to get the hell out of the way when they come try to infiltrate their way into that relationship, if you want to feel like you have the opportunity to level up as you work hard, and if you want to have the idea that you can that First Amendment, that's yours. And it's yours because you're a human being. Not because there's somebody in a government structure, in a bureaucracy, in an alphabet soup agency that sits behind a closed door. You'll never see their face. You'll never know their name. But they're not going to sit back there and tell you what you get to say and what you can say. They're not going to help advocate for the boogeyman in the closet that gets to choose who gets canceled and who doesn't. Yeah, those words that someone else might say with their First Amendment flex against you might be offensive to you. But if somebody says something to offend you, then just don't deal with that person anymore or call them out with your First Amendment. It sucks to live in this Democrat version of what America is. And it's very sad that the progressives on the left, their entire investment in this country is a regression. And it's kind of like because you deserve it. Because America isn't great. It was never great. Just ask the Democrats. They'll tell you. They'll tell you every chance they get. The Republican Party, whoever becomes the next chair, needs to tell the Republican Party this is our future. For the next 4 years, it goes through Donald Trump. And then we're going to have to figure out how America first continues on. No more waffling at the top of the RNC structure, bureaucracy. No more waffling up there about whether or not we're a Trump group of people or we're not. Because there's no future for the Republican Party in the next 4 years if it doesn't involve Donald Trump. That's for certain. Let's take some phone calls from you when we come back. I'd love if you want to call in and tell me if you were the RNC chair or if you were advising the RNC chair, what would you tell them they need to focus on? What is it that they're not doing right now that you would love to see? And if you're a donor of the RNC or if you have pushed off being a donor of the RNC, what would you need to see happen to make you say, okay, fine, I'll send my $25? 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, easy to find online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com. They also have 3 locations that you can shop, St. Charles County, West County, and Darty and Prairie. Go go inside one of these shops and see what they have available. I really appreciate how they laid out the flooring so that you can experience what it's like to walk on it, feel it under your feet. Flooring is an investment in your home. It's going to make an amazing transformation as well in your home. So every way that you can experience it is a good way for you to make a more educated decision. Now, the 30 years that Michael's Flooring Outlet has been in business, they have the experts. They are people who work in flooring. They sell flooring. They know flooring. That's what they do. There's not a bunch of departments there that they have to know a bunch of things, and it depends on, you look at the schedule to see where you're going to be. Nope, these are flooring people, which is who you want when it comes time to have a residential project done or a commercial project done, both ways. If you're looking for carpet, if you're looking for tile, vinyl, hardwood, laminate, whatever you want, you can go to Michael's Flooring Outlet, and they're going to be able to help guide you through that process and make sure that you get value along with great quality. Go to Michael's Flooring Outlet and tell them the Annie Fry Show said hi. Find them online at igotfloor.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
If you're one of those folks who celebrate St. Patrick's Day like a national holiday, you need to meet my friend Grillmaster Tony. Mark Cox here for GrillmasterTony.com. He's got a St. Patrick's Day special of corned beef and cabbage and red potatoes and carrots, and let Tony do the cooking for you. Of course, he can also make a brisket, a hand-selected, ordered, delivered, wrapped, rested, hot, and ready to eat. You can order online right now at GrillmasterTony.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Triple the heat and save on a new furnace. Save 10% on a single-stage furnace, 15% off a two-stage furnace, or 20% off a multi-stage furnace. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
It's what's happening.
Donald Trump will be the Republicans' candidate.
Right now.
Joe Biden is the one Democrat
keeping you informed.
Who will beat him.
And up to date.
I'm not dropping out of the race.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Baby loves me, yes, yes she does. All the girls outside, yeah.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Loves me, yes, yes
He is by far the most disgraceful figure in modern presidential history. He's only become more disgraceful since 2016 and since 2020. He is a bubbling cauldron of loathsome traits, and it's only those who are actually suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, which is the way they and Fox News and all the rest of MAGA media try to brush aside all the legitimate criticisms of Trump. You have to be in the throes of some sort of toxic delusion, in a toxic cult, to believe that Donald Trump has ever been, in any sense, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually, or ethically fit to be president of the United States. But his supporters are locked in on that.
I wonder if Bob Costas has a copay for that experience there on, was it CNN? MSNBC? CNN?
That was CNN.
Yeah. That therapy session. He got a lot out. What did Trump do to him?
I don't know, but it does seem personal because it's very much about his psychology. You know, it's never anything about voting record. It's always about the man.
I have 2 clips. That was the shorter one. I'm going to play the other one maybe later. I want to get to some phone calls here. I asked you if, with Ronna McDaniel saying she's done after Super Tuesday, which is a week from tomorrow, what do you want to see the Republican Party do to earn your support? Maybe you will reluctantly vote Republican. Maybe you vote for Donald Trump. There's a lot of people who say that they're a Trump voter that struggle with the label Republican. That's what's got to come together. And there has to be a way, and Donald Trump's got to be involved. It can't just be Donald Trump exists where he is, and everybody has to come to where he is, which is kind of the way Trump operates. But if Trump doesn't feel like he's constantly butting heads everywhere he goes, maybe there's room there. It has to be somebody who can work with him, but we also have to have a unified message. That's what I want to see the RNC do. Are you donating to the Republican Party? Is there a specific reason you're not? Give us a call, 314-241-9797. Let's start with Carrie. Carrie, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show.
Hey. Okay, there's 2 reasons why I don't donate anymore. The first is Ronna McDaniel, because I think she's done a terrible job of delivering significant wins. If the 2020 midterm isn't a great example of backing the wrong candidates in key states like Georgia, we just had, I love Herschel Walker, but he was a terrible candidate. And there was no way he was going to win. So that it's that kind of thing. And I just think she just hasn't done a good job. So that's one. The second thing is, Annie, I think I'm going to have to change my phone number. We're
nodding in affirmation.
I have called my Congresswoman Ann Wagner's office, and I'm begging, like, can somebody tell me how to turn this off? Here I am. The mistake that I made was being a supporter of this organization, which quite frankly at this point feels like a racket, okay? It feels like cheap, cheesy. I get 60 text messages a day. They sold my information to all these other races that I couldn't care less about, and all these,
I know
other
exactly
states.
What you're talking about, Carrie. Ryan.
And it makes the quality of the messaging in these ads or these text messages, they treat us like a bunch of ignorant rubes, okay? Like it's like made for TV advertising, like as seen on TV. I just recently got some things that were pornographic, like hawking a coffee mug that had the F word and Biden's name. I'm not a Biden supporter. I'm reluctant to say I'm a Republican anymore, but I certainly don't want that man to win. I think it's ridiculous what's going on. But really sending me things with the F word, like, who do you think I am?
Who's the voter base here? 100%. Carrie, that is an amazing point. Thank you for calling the show. Like, I am considering submitting Carrie's name for RNC chairperson right now.
That needs badly to be addressed. The amount of messages that you get, it really does. If you think through, okay, I'm going to support. If you think it through to its logical end, you might stop just because you know your name is going on a list, because your number's going on a list.
Yeah.
That is a real reason for a lot of people to not give to political candidates or to the RNC. That absolutely needs to be addressed.
These are all spam messages that I get, and I scrolled there, and they go through February. It's just like an incessant flow. I've really looked, and I haven't found the way yet. How do I get my phone to stop alerting me when I get a spam text? I don't want to know. It's spam. Why would I want to know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's multiple times a day, and it is obnoxious. And if putting $20 into a campaign buys this, screw that.
No kidding.
Not happening. Carrie, I really wish I would have made that point first.
I know.
Good job, Carrie. I totally agree with you. Let's go to Leo. Leo, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. What about the RNC? What do you think?
Okay, I'm glad you said something about the flowers and Rona, because I heard that too. Spending thousands on the damn flowers, that's the last thing she needs to do. The point was already made. I was so glad to hear it, because it's not about votes. They have to shift the focus to ballots. Somebody, one of your colleagues said that. That's how the Democrats won in 2020. They rigged the election because they got all those ballots. And I'm not saying they have to be rigged, because in a lot of states, mail-in voting and ballot harvesting is legal. The last thing I want to say, that's what you have to do. You have to have a network like the Democrats already do. They've got it set up like that. And the last person that needs to be involved in some kind of solution to the problem is the fox that created it in the first place. That is such a joke to say Joe Biden wants this plan, that plan, and the next plan. Whatever it is, throw it out. Because he allowed 10 million potential Democrat voters to get into the country. That's what he wants to do. And you haven't even begun to see the problems. The gal that got murdered in Georgia, I mean, it's going to have that's probably a little appetizer for what the hell is going to happen as a result of what he has done. That guy is a disaster. No way he should do anything even close to coming up with a solution, because he caused the problem. That's it. I'm done.
Leo, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. He sounds about those issues the way Bob Costas sounds in energy about Donald Trump. The election rule is huge. It's hard to talk about because people run to their corners, and it's not like you run to your corners and you face the room to see who's in what corners. People run to their corners and then they stand and face the wall.
Yeah.
There's no looking. There's no discussing. The idea that we have, through COVID measures in 2020, changed the way we vote in a lot of these states. They've gone through this process legally. The efforts to the state legislators allowed this kind of change to happen, and it's hugely consequential. The idea that voting lasts for weeks and weeks, and that ballots get mailed out and then someone just comes and picks them up, that's not how this is supposed to work. And it is how it currently works legally. You don't have to like it. You should despise it. It should disgust you. None of that changes if you don't change those state legislators. None of that changes if you don't get the right people in elected office. Whining and bitching and moaning about the idea that election should just happen on one day and I'm only going to vote on election day, and telling people not to vote any day but election day is a stupid plan. Maybe it's a policy for what you do when you work to win the election, but Donald Trump can't change that. States handle elections. The federal government doesn't. So it's not even really with the president of the United States. He has to abide by the laws that are put into place in each state. And then we have to have good people who are willing to look into very closely what the laws are, if they are constitutional based on the state constitution or whatever it might be, and we have to address it. But it's very difficult to even have a conversation right now because it's so polarizing.
Yeah, when Leo was talking, it reminded me of, remember in 2021 and 22, Democrats controlled the House still, so they had all three chambers, including the White House. They tried to pass a law called the Freedom to Vote Act. That would have radically changed the way people vote across the entire United States. They were not able to get it across basically because of Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, but they almost did. They are trying to radically change elections to be as wide open and insecure as possible. But they just were a couple votes shy of doing it.
Let's get to Guy here real quick. Guy, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. What kind of focus do you want to see the RNC have?
I want to see him push back against this lying press all the time. I watched Meet the Press. I watch it every single week. But last week, she got on she was talking to a Republican, and she talked about, Joe Biden was innocent. He was found innocent of this document case, holding on. He was not found innocent. Okay, he was not innocent. They just said he's incompetent to stand trial whenever he gets out of office. That kind of stuff. They keep pushing, and nobody pushes back on what they say.
But the people on the right are saying what you're saying, and the people on the left, like the people on the left-wing media outlets, they're not gonna it just seems to me like nobody's really gonna change. I feel like the pressure has to come from people like you while you're talking to your friends, or people like us when we're in our lives, that we're gonna have to do this kind of a grassroots one by one type of influence campaign, because I don't see anybody on MSNBC or CNN going, I think I'd like to have a change of heart here.
Well, everybody knows already right now how bad we're hurting.
Yeah.
We don't need to hear that message. We don't need to hear the economy's bad. We already know that. So come up with something to push back on what's going on. Let everybody know why this is happening. And I just don't hear enough of it.
Thanks, Guy. Appreciate your phone call. Eric's been holding. Eric, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Your focus for the RNC, what would you tell him?
They need to change the message and get rid of the stigma of mail-in voting and otherwise, and that's temporarily. But in eventuality, they need to eliminate all of the harvesting and make it illegal to send a ballot to somebody who does not independently and specifically request it anywhere in this country.
That's a great point. I'm sorry, I lost him there. Eric is really concisely saying exactly what it needs to be. Get away from the stigma of getting in the game and playing the game so you can win the game. And once you've won the game, then maybe you can change the game.
That's exactly what has to happen.
Tim, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. What would you tell the RNC? What do you think? Hey, Tim, you there?
Oh, hi. Yes, I am. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Go ahead.
We've been too nice in the past years. I mean, we are trying to go by our traditions and by what we've done in the past. The problem is the Democratic Party is not playing that game. We need to take some, like many people have said, we need to take some plays out of their playbook and do what they're doing in order to win. Not to mention, we have been too nice, with the Democratic Party in far as fighting back. I mean, everything that they're doing to Trump can be done to somebody else. We need to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to say it not happen again or we need to do that to them. I appreciate the phone call, Tim. Thanks for being on here with us. Jim, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. What do you think? What should the focus be for the RNC?
Hello?
Hi, Jim. Go ahead. We're talking to you.
Hi. Yeah, I think, and it's kind of along the same lines as the last caller, but I'm going to be a little more specific. The Republican Party needs to stop being the party of no to everything. And they need to come up with some solutions that are workable.
Any suggestions?
That's where I'll give you an example. The student loan issue. Paying back making all the student loans go away. None of us like that, but it's a very popular issue for the young people. And we've got to start looking at the reasons that cause this predicament and go after the source.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great example.
Yeah. So let me give you my answer to that. I was talking to a guy the other night. He said, no, that's an automatic no. Good Republican answer. And I said, well, let's think about this for a minute. I said, I would be willing to forgive every student loan in the history that they've been given on a couple of conditions. One, the government never backs student loans again. We make the universities and colleges issue the loans at their risk. Number two, to get that money back, we start taxing the endowments of these universities, even the private schools. like Washoe and Slough, tax those in one-time property tax of 20% or something, and then forevermore there's an income tax assigned to it. Because these are just little laboratories of communism anyway, right?
Jim,
I mean,
I got to interrupt because I got to get to a break. But I wanted to tell you, thank you for calling the show, because the thing that I appreciate the most about what he's doing is he's trying to come up with solutions that might get a ton of support, might get no support. But the answer can't always, from the Republican Party, just be, no, we're not doing that. We need to come up with solutions and say, we can't do this, but what if we did that? Good advice, Jim. Sorry we couldn't get to everybody in that break there, but we'll continue to look for ways to let you call in the Annie Fry Show and weigh in. We got to hurry up. Wiggins America's staring me down over here. How do you feel?
It's what Wiggins America does.
Stares?
Stares until he gets his time.
Gets his way? How about now?
Okay.
We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Well, you can still hurry into the Diamond Shop in February and save on some very special deals that are taking place this month. 30% off mounted jewelry is a great opportunity to save. Go into their store in Clayton and just start the conversation. You'll be glad you did. They are wonderful people and extremely knowledgeable and are going to work with you to make sure that your budget is met and that your satisfaction is as well. They also have 10% off bearing watches and 10% off the February birthstone, a beautiful purple amethyst. If you're in the market right now for wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, engagement rings. Also, they do custom jewelry, watch repair, appraisals. They even buy gold. When you visit the Diamond Shop, they are going to walk you through that process and help you feel comfortable and confident that you're going to get a quality piece for yourself, for someone special in your life, and that you're going to want to tell other people about your experience at the Diamond Shop. They've been serving St. Louis since 1910, now located in Clayton, and go by, tell them hello, tell them the Annie Fry Show said hello, and start that conversation with them today. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
When you're selling your home, you want the most money and the least hassle. That's exactly what you get when you work with my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Mark Cox here. Selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. That's why having an expert on your side is crucial. Right now, other agents know that some sellers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price. This can be a dangerous strategy. Most of the time, it ends up being an empty promise. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. She makes guarantees in writing. It's simple. Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy it. Guaranteed in writing. Take it from me. Pick up the phone and call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit her online anytime and tell her you heard Mark Cox talking about it. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 300 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 300. LUMEdeodorant.com, code 300 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 300 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. LUMEdeodorant.com, code 300.
It's Mark Cox. Join me on the Amalfi Coast of Italy next spring. Southern Italy, the Abbey of Monte Cassino. It may be Italy's best kept secret. Puglia, Caserta, Sorrento, Pompeii, Positano, Rome. We're going to see it all through our friends at Conservative Tours. That's conservativetours.com. $53.67 per person. That includes your airfare. Join me next spring on the Amalfi Coast. Go to conservativetours.com.
We've been talking about it. You can chime in on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Cracking open a soda near the mic. Yes or no? Let us know. If you were trying to get through and you didn't, this is a great place to chime in. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Yes or no? It's the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. The time is 12:50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
What's happening now is happening here, and we're talking about it. On St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Wiggins. Oh! Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Woo! It makes me so happy.
Feeling that.
It's just irrationally joyful.
Yeah.
That wildest ride in the wilderness.
All right. Well, these are the stories that you might have missed over the weekend. The first one is AT&T has said it will provide a, drum roll please, $5 credit.
Yeah, fight shutdown communication for a day.
You can't text anybody, hey, don't worry about it. We'll give you $5, and not in cash, but in credit, to customers who were potentially impacted by Thursday's widespread network outage when tens of thousands of customers reported losing cell phone service for much of the day. I almost want to do Annie, are you okay? Because I want to know what you guys think of this. Is a $5 credit even worth your time?
I was going to say, I think it would have been better if they just wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah.
I kind of agree.
This is kind of like tipping a quarter.
yeah, like either don't tip or
That's
give
an
me
F you.
20%. Yeah.
When I saw this, I set this aside and was going to talk about it later, but it's a quick conversation. And it's just a matter of why.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying that the value of the time that people lost was worth $5, I just really don't think they should have done anything. You can't really compensate for that time. I don't know. I just don't think that it was necessary to begin with.
The crazy thing to me is that if it was $10, and I'm not AT&T, so it doesn't really impact me anyway, but if it was $10, I would kind of feel okay about that. But something about $5 not being able to even buy me a value meal anymore makes me go, what is the purpose of getting $5?
So what you're saying is this is really Joe Biden's fault for inflation.
That's kind of where I'm going with
that's
this.
what I think
I didn't
AT&T
realize that I was, but I am.
I think it was a subtle point made by AT&T, like a 4D chess thing that maybe Donald Trump suggested they do.
Maybe he's been in touch with their execs. Yeah. The other thing that I do want to point out, it was really hard to find this information. I had to look over several articles to find it, but it does look like you don't really have to fill out a form or anything. That was what I was really like. Nobody's going to fill out the form.
I was going to say, don't they just pop it onto your account?
I think they're just going to throw it onto your account, which kind of makes it okay, but also really $5.
I mean, I wish Charter would do that whenever their service goes out.
I kind of do too. Like there's an amount per minute that you're spending that whenever the service is out, you get that back. That would be great. It just seems like if you lose half a day, $5 isn't covering for that.
One point of order.
Please.
My communication with people with AT&T was disrupted.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good point.
I'm going to call out Ellen. I don't know if she's sitting out there right now, but I had a meeting with her, and I was sending her text, and I was starting to go, she's like the best of the best when it comes to getting back to me immediately. She was totally ghosting me. It turned out she wasn't getting any of my texts. So she couldn't, but I was hurt by that, and I think there's punitive damages
I
that
think
should be levied.
you should talk to Ellen about getting $250.
I'm going to go tell her she owes me $5.
But you can't get the whole thing. Don't get greedy.
I'm going to find everybody I tried to text that day who's an ATG and
You
tell
owe
them to give me
me-
$250.
You owe me $250.
This is going to work out well.
You're going to end up making more than they
Yeah,
did.
I know. That's the plan.
Next one is Republicans vote unanimously to ban basic income programs in a state with one of the highest homelessness rates. I wanted to bring that actual headline and not report in a different way, because what we're talking about here is in Arizona, first of all, the state House Republicans unanimously voted to ban universal basic income programs in that state. But the way that it's being broadcast to the world is Republicans vote to ban basic income programs.
What's the source?
Yahoo via, I think this is sourced from a local Arizona newspaper, probably Arizona Sun or something.
Does anybody actually write for Yahoo? Is everything they do aggregate?
I think most of it is. Not all of it,
Okay.
but because I think they do have Yahoo Finance and some other things that they have some
But
writers
isn't that just
for.
like Fox Business?
But a lot of
articles?
that's sourced from other spots too. But it's amazing to me that the way that people are not going to fight communism, because this is really ultimately what Republicans are voting for here. They even say these programs are too much like socialism. I would go so far as to say this literally is communism. But
Redistribution of wealth.
when you vote against these things, just realize that the media is going to tell you, oh, you're voting against the homeless. Newsflash, if everybody's getting free money, you're going to have less people working and more homeless. So this is doing the opposite of what they think they're trying to tell you that they're doing.
Well,
Wanted to make that
I was going
point.
to say the problem with that line of thinking is like, oh, well, there's homeless people. There's no guarantee that a universal basic income will make people who are homeless not homeless. There are other underlying issues there that cause homeless people to be homeless.
There almost always are other underlying issues there, that a person's not just so poor they can't afford rent. There's a lot of things going on. Last one, flights allowing views of April's total solar eclipse from the sky are mostly selling out. Delta is selling a bunch of different flights that you can watch the solar eclipse, which seems kind of cool, but they're selling out very, very quickly. We are, by the way, right in the path of this solar eclipse. We're right on the edge of it.
Did you go to see the last one?
Uh-huh.
Did you make a big effort to do it, or did you just like poke your head out and be like, okay?
Well, I had the glasses, so you have to have
the glasses.
You have to have some sort of
Oh,
effort.
really? I thought you would have just looked at it.
No, I didn't. I went to somewhere and picked up a pair
Yeah.
of free glasses out of a barrel.
I was subbing that day, so I took our class outside. So the school distributed glasses to everyone. We took our class outside.
I had my 3 kids. Molly wasn't around then, and we got in the car, and we decided there were a lot of places you could go. What was that, like
2017?
17.
Yeah, Trump was in the White House
It was-
because they made a big deal about him looking at the sun.
Oh, Lord, have mercy. It's a weird. This is a weird thing to remember. My kids and I got in the car. Jared was teaching at the time, and we said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna drive southeast, because that was how you got closer.
And it's the same thing this time.
So we said, let's get in the car. This is how much time we have. We're going to go as far south as far as we can go. And then when it gets close to time, we're just going to park. And we found the most amazing. If I could find that spot again, I would go, because it was somewhere like out towards Freeburg area.
God's country.
Oh, Lord, yeah, St.
Leonard
Charles.
Skinner.
Take that. Yeah. Leonard Skinner.
Freeburg.
This is different. Freeburg. And we just got out of the car and we looked at it, and then we got back in the car and drove back home. But everybody was pulled over on the side of the road
It was
to watch
fun.
it. It was wild.
Yeah.
It was like a thing we all did at the same time without hating each other.
April 8th, everybody. That's the next one.
All right, Steve Moore when we come back.
Have you ever been sitting around or driving like you're probably doing right now? Man, I think I need a new furnace or an air conditioner. Have you? I mean, I think about you thinking about it all the time. Regardless of what's going on right now with the economy and with these mandates and the prices going absolutely crazy, I would have to say, without a question, the best time to buy is actually right now. No gimmicks, no tricks. 5 years, no interest on a furnace and air conditioner. Get your prices, get your quotes, get your monthly payments, and then call me and buy now to where you can make your choice and you can still get the so-called inefficient models. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest number, Missouri and Illinois, and your only number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Politics got in the way. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre calling on Republicans again to support border proposals that passed the Senate, also pushing back on arguments the president should act alone.
There is no executive action that would have done what the bipartisan Senate negotiation proposal could have done.
House Republicans want tougher border measures. Tomorrow is primary day in Michigan, where former President Trump has a big lead again in recent polls, while Nikki Haley looks ahead to Super Tuesday next week.
We have 21 states and territories that are getting ready to happen. Why don't we wait and see what happens? We don't have to have a crystal ball and say this is going to happen or that's going to happen.
Haley campaigning in Grand Rapids before heading to Minnesota later today after losing her home state, South Carolina, over the weekend. The Supreme Court hears arguments over laws in Florida and Texas aimed at protecting conservative viewpoints by limiting the content moderation policies of social media companies.
Florida's law says a large social media company can't remove journalistic content based on the content or deplatform a political candidate. A Texas law says they can't remove content based on viewpoint or location. Justice Sonia Sotomayor told Florida's solicitor,
"This is so broad. It's covering almost everything."
An attorney for the social media company said these laws violate the company's free speech rights. Justice Samuel Alito asked an attorney for the Biden administration if censorship can only come from the government and not social media companies.
That's not censorship, that's content moderation.
I think that the semantics of it.
The attorney for the social media companies argued these state laws would interfere with their ability to remove terrorist or teen suicide content as well.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Days after a judge released him, a different judge orders a former FBI informant to stay in jail ahead of his trial on charges of making up a bribery story about the Biden family. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Chris Riccobono, founder of Untuck It. When I started the brand, I wanted to make the perfect fitting untucked shirt. And over the years, we changed the way guys think about how they dress. The secret was our obsession over fabric quality, listening to what our customers wanted and making everything fit perfectly. Our fit team has mastered pants, polos, sports coats, and more, so we've got you covered from head to toe. Try what millions of guys already know and love. Shop today at untuckit.com or our 80-plus stores worldwide.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The surge of spring continues all afternoon with strong winds, lots of sunshine, 75 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, still windy all night long. Mild, 58 for the low. Tuesday, still ahead of the front, partly sunny, very windy, record warmth near 80 degrees. Tuesday, 79. Rain and thunderstorms Tuesday evening. Some could be strong to severe. Colder late night, 35. The high Wednesday, only 39, 40. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Heroes Care is fulfilling their mission of serving military members in many ways. Brad Range here from The Annie Fry Show. Every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., Heroes Care is offering free haircuts at the Mission Depot. Learn more and make an appointment at 971talk.com/care.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The vote is in. STL Today has certified the result. Onderlaw has been voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Mortgage rates have finally dropped. That's right. Golden Oak has 5.375% fixed rates available right now. Our average cash-out customer saves over $1,000 a month. Call today and take advantage of our 5.375 fixed rate. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.934 APR. FHA 15-year 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
But when the president talks about how important it is for manufacturers of food, processed and non-processed, to pass along the kind of savings that they're seeing as inflation comes down to their customers, he really means it. This is very important. Their profit margins are still highly elevated, and they're using a level of pricing power that may have made sense to them at one point. But at this point, since they themselves are realizing savings as costs come down, they need to start passing those savings forward to consumers, and the president will continue to call them out if we don't see it.
I keep hearing, anytime there's an economic number that's reported that is, especially individually, a positive number, it's not often presented in the context of what the American people are actually experiencing, at least not from a factual basis. Brett, everybody always has a political take on that's what politics is.
Yeah. You listen to, so it was like this with Trump too, but specifically Joe Biden. Good numbers come out. Hey, look what I did. My economy is working strong for the American people, building it up from the middle, the bottom up and the middle out or something like that. And but then when something goes bad, well, it's those big evil corporations that are, price gouging the American people. It's not my fault that the prices aren't coming down. And I don't know.
When President Biden identifies a problem that America identifies, and weirdly with this administration, the noise has to grow to a volume that even they can't avoid.
Yeah.
That, okay, we identify the problem and it immediately becomes A1 priority to make sure that we establish blame.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, and I mean, a lot of people are accusing Donald Trump of doing the same thing regarding the border issue to keep a problem alive to the election so that Donald Trump can continue to campaign on the idea that the border is unsecure. That is so laughable to think that there is a voter out there that is so stupid to think that Joe Biden doesn't wear this squarely on the chin, what he's doing to our country on the southern border.
Yeah.
That Donald Trump is going to get, 7.5 months or 8 months or whatever it is, if the House were to go pass the Ukraine-Israel priority bill. That's what the Democrats say is the priority, is Ukraine and is Israel. We've got a southern border. We're bleeding people into this country. We've got the Georgia girl who was murdered by an illegal immigrant. The story is becoming more familiar each and every awful time that it occurs. And in the midst of it, we're degrading ourselves from the inside out. It's horrific. And from where I sit, this administration's only concern is that you know who to blame. Nobody's buying it. Nobody's going to look at what Donald Trump had going, what Joe Biden immediately did, among other things on day one of his administration, to undo what had been done to the border. Joe Biden's border policy is, what did Trump do? We're going to not do that. We're going to do something else. It's the same thing with the economy, with inflation, with how people live and their experiences. We're going to get Steve Moore on here in just a second, but I wanted to read, I was looking through Walt Disney Company's SEC filing. This is a super nerdy thing for me to do, and I'm way out ahead of my skis. But this is interesting to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to talk to Steve Moore. I'm going to ask him about this. There's a section called risk factors that comes out in this SEC filing. And the first thing that they list here is declines in economic conditions such as recession, economic downturn, or inflationary conditions in the United States and other regions of the world in which we do business, or failure of these conditions to improve as anticipated typically adversely affect demand or expenses. It goes on to talk about how the economy has not put them in a position to feel confident about what's going forward. And then they go on there and say recent inflationary conditions increased certain of our costs. The certain economic conditions could also have the effect of reducing attendance at our parks and resorts, prices, and cable programming purchases. And it just goes on to list all these things where costs are going up and up and up. And everyday Americans who want to go ride Dumbo at Walt Disney World probably can't afford to do it the way they did before. That's real life. And that's what Walt Disney is saying to you if you're thinking about investing in them. I'm going to ask my friend Steve Moore, who's here. He's a distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation, a Trump economic advisor as well. Steve, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you.
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you. I was just listening to you. I agree with everything you said, so you're spot on correct.
Yes, I'm actually very excited to hear you say that just personally, because I've started to try to individually buy stock about a year ago. And I didn't know what I was doing, and I wanted to be more educated about it. So I thought, well, I'll just try it. And one of the things I did was buy some stock of the Walt Disney Company because it had tanked so bad. What does it mean when you see a company come out here, a very woke company, a company that has made some really, really terrible decisions, especially in the last year, when they're saying, hey, listen, people can't afford to spend money the way they used to? That to me is not a political statement. It's just a factual one.
Well, it is a factual statement because the average American family is about $2,000 poorer today than when Trump left office. So this has not been a good recovery for most Americans. That's why people are angry, and that's why people, 2/3 of Americans say the economy's headed in the wrong direction because they can't pay their bills. And so, I'm not a big fan of Disney lately. I think Disney has been, when I was growing up, it was the Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights, and we'd all huddle around the TV and, watch these wholesome pro-family, children's movies and stuff. And now it's gone completely woke, and I'm sort of disgusted. I think that Walt Disney is probably turning over in his grave to see what's happened to his empire. I don't want to watch these shows for political statements. I just want to be entertained. And I want some things that are, enriching to my kids.
There's another part. This is why I started doing this investing thing, because it makes me pay more attention to things I wouldn't be exposed to otherwise. They also go into this SEC filing and they start talking about where they look to face where they look to create content, they've noticed that how they choose to prioritize what they want to say with the content they're creating may not be popular with the general public. And I thought, does this mean they're getting the message? Because they have hurt their cause so much. I mean, in America, if you don't listen to what the people want, the people don't buy it, and it's on you to change what you're doing. Does that type of thing politically influence big companies like Walt Disney, do you think?
Well, all you have to do is look at the big story in corporate America in 2023, which was the Bud Light fiasco, when they hired some 25-year-old hotshot out of, Harvard Business School, who's supposed to be a genius marketer, and she puts out this, this ad that many people felt was offensive, and it was kind of insulting to the average, Bud Light drinker. They lost touch with their audience, and they lost $30 billion because people said, I'm not going to engage in a business with a company that is, against the values that I believe in. And so this is happening all the time right now. And I think finally, by the way, I think there's such a big backlash against this. By the way, what happened with Bud Light really woke up corporate America. It was all like, oh my God, I don't want to see that happen to my, business and my products. So I do think there's a backlash. I think companies are starting to be more attentive to the fact, hey, there's more conservatives than there are progressives in this country. We outnumber them. Maybe we don't rattle the cages as much as they do, but we're out there and we have purchasing power, and you better pay attention to us or we're not going to buy your products and we're going to put you in bankruptcy.
Yeah, I'm reading here. It says further consumers' perceptions of our position on matters of public interest, including our efforts to achieve certain of our environmental and social goals, often differ widely and present risks to our reputation and brands. This is from Disney itself.
Now, this is the Disney. Is this their annual report, or what are you reading from?
It's the SEC 10K. Did I say that right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that, and it's quite. I'm glad you're reading from it because they're admitting that they've lost touch with their customer. They're admitting that they've lost touch with, the people who've been, longtime supporters of Disney and buying their products. And but they're still doing it. That's the thing. I mean, they're making Snow White. They're making a remake of that, and
they've
it's like
changed it.
Prince Charming is really a villain, and he's a sex fiend, and this kind of thing. And how dare he kiss Snow White? Without her approval, he would still be in a deep sleep.
Well, sometimes maybe that's the alternative that some of these crazy people would prefer. Yeah, what is your advice as somebody who studies the economy in a really, really close, impactful way? What is it that in America consumers can do to affect the outcome of content Disney produces or how Bud Light chooses to advertise their brand? Like, what is your advice to consumers? How do they use your voice effectively?
Well, it's interesting because there's a big controversy about boycotts, but I'm very much in favor of boycotts. I mean, if a company doesn't share your values, you don't just have a vote at the ballot box, Annie. You have a vote every time you go out and buy things.
Right.
And I love Ben and Jerry's ice cream, but a lot of times I won't buy it because I don't like their politics. Now, sometimes I'll cave in and get the chunky monkey, but I try to voice. I mean, your dollars count. You have a vote with your dollars. Be a discerning shopper. And now, there are some companies that I find just so outrageous that I just simply will not buy their products. And that's a great thing. Look, it's a free country, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to buy the stuff and you like what they're talking about, that's fine. But I'm not going to subsidize and patronize companies that are assaulting my values. If they've got two girls kissing on the screen, I'm going to turn it off. I'm sorry.
Well, it goes both ways, too, because there are lots of ways to support companies where maybe you would go out of your way to go shop at a certain store or to buy a certain product or use a certain service because you truly do care what they stand for. So it is.
So let me give you an example, a concrete example. So because it's timely, too. So in our hotline today, and I hope everybody's getting our Committee to Unleash Prosperity hotline, just go to committee-to-unleashprosperity.com and get it for free every morning. But we have an item on the AARP. That's the senior citizen group. Well, they don't really represent seniors. They're representing big health insurers right now. And so, I said at the end of this piece about how awful AARP is, and I bet a lot of your listeners are members of AARP. Stop paying membership to AARP. And we have other, I don't know if you've heard of AMAC and some of these other senior groups that actually are conservative. So get out of AARP and join AMAC or 60 Plus or some of these other groups that are overtly conservative. One of my mentors in politics was Ed Follner, the great founder and president for many years of the Heritage Foundation. He used to say, if a company is not overtly conservative, they're liberal.
Yeah.
And he's right, and so I think it's going to be, I think if we start taking this seriously, they will start listening to us.
Well, I appreciate your insight on that, as always. And I'm always constantly trying to learn more here. And it's interesting to dig super deep into some of it's almost like a confessional reading through some of this filing report. Because it's like, okay, if you know it, what are you doing about it? Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Because they're not changing. Yeah. They aren't.
We appreciate you.
And it's really, it's because their marketing people and their creative people have lost touch with real America. It's sort of like this election that's coming up. I mean, Biden is representing a left-wing culture, and you and I and people listening to the show for the most part are for the traditional cultural values of our country.
Yeah. And it's time to do something with that power in America. The individual does have power. We need to remember that, and we need to use it.
That's right.
Steve, thank you. We appreciate you.
Okay.
Talk to you
See
soon.
you, Annie. Have a great week ahead.
Yep,
Take
you
care.
too. Bye-bye. Steve Moore, the Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation, a Trump economic advisor, and author of the book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. We're going to take a quick break, kind of continuing the topic at hand right now. Michael Seifert is going to be with us. He is the CEO, chairman, president, and founder, all of the above, for Public Square. Have you gone to Public Square yet and signed up? I have. And it's exactly what we were just talking about with Steve Moore. Shopping at places who are aligned with your values. Have you checked it out? Go to Public Square on the internet. Download the app. Michael Seifert, the head guy there. When we come back, he's a St. Louis boy. We'll talk to him in just a minute.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan. Stewie is a wonderful friend and great sponsor of the station, the show, and I am a customer of his as well. When I have looked at the rates when they were coming down years ago, I refinanced twice with Stewie, secured a low rate. Very glad that he encouraged me to do that back then, because now I have a great low rate on my mortgage. Now, while rates are going up and going down, when you call Stewie because you're looking to purchase a home and you're going to need to get a mortgage and you don't necessarily have time for rates to go back down to 2% again, Lord knows when that's going to happen, you talk to Stewie and he's going to have you in a position to get that low rate when it's available, to lock it in. He's looking at this with each individual person and each individual situation to make sure that you are in the best place. The bagel loan is Stewie's. It's from Stewart's American Mortgage. You can't get the bagel loan anywhere else. And when you use the bagel loan, you pay zero in closing costs. It's that simple. They don't exist. They're not somewhere else. Bagel loan looks like a zero. You pay nothing in closing costs. That's why he called it the bagel loan. 314-324-4440. It's 314-324-4440. Call him or text him and ask him about the bagel loan. You can Google the bagel loan as well. NMLS number 226715.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense reports for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integrations, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who have switched to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. Modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Even for our customers, knowing to be able to come to a place that has strong, solid, sound values. Many of them have said after coming here that they've really experienced that and felt it here. And knowing that we can align ourselves with other companies that have that same deep value system that we stand for as well, that has really built this country is huge for us to be able to know that, wow, all these people, we all are on the same page, think the same, have the same desires, want to build America with a strong, solid foundation that our forefathers gave us. And it's even makes doing our business even more worth doing.
Well, at the beginning of the show today, when we were talking about what the RNC can do with the chairperson position, what do you want them to see? One of the callers that we took said, we can't just say no to everything. We have to start looking for solutions. We have to start looking for alternatives. And I'm really excited to welcome Michael Seifert back onto the Annie Fry Show because he is one of those guys who said, I got a solution for that. He's the Chief Executive Officer, Chairman, President, and Founder of Public Square. Go to publicsquare.com and follow along as we are talking here today. Michael, welcome back to a St. Louis radio show. It's good to have you back here.
It is great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Of course. You know, when I was just talking to Steve Moore, an economist that is advising President Trump on his campaign, but we were talking about how a lot of these companies that exist right now, big companies, they don't listen to what their consumers want. And if the consumers start pulling back from using them, usually they press harder first. And it gets to the point where you're like, why am I patronizing, investing, whatever it might be, in a company that isn't listening to anything that matters to me as a consumer?
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, I know that a lot of the folks that listen to this great show are patriots. They want to make sure that their time, their energy, their resource is devoted toward creating a better country that's more in alignment with the classic liberties ascribed in the Constitution and protected by that wonderful document. It's very hard to secure that sort of future when we are funding companies that are truly political organizations masquerading as free market actors. If you want some examples, you know, we talk about the 2020 election and whether or not it was truly safe and secure or whether or not that was just a facade. We can debate about that, but at the end of the day, something that is very out in the open is that Mark Zuckerberg invested $400 million in that election. Time magazine openly admitted that it was a rigged election by a cabal of actors. Time magazine is owned by Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce, one of the largest companies in the world that truly holds the keys to many American businesses. And so what we have to learn and recognize is that corporate America has become weaponized as a political arm. They sway elections in their favor. They contribute to the candidates that they want to back. And if we want to stand a chance of securing liberty for the next generation, it has to extend beyond the ballot box. We actually have to recognize that every time I swipe my card, every time I fund a company or buy a product, I am also funding whatever they are going to use their profits on advancing. And so we created a solution called Public Square so that patriots in our country would be able to fund companies that love this country and don't want to destroy it. They actually want to support free enterprise, excellence, meritocracy. They want to stand against DEI and ESG. And thankfully, that's helped us create this sort of parallel economic ecosystem where hopefully we can push back by helping folks not just vote at the ballot box, but also with their wallets.
There's so much economic benefit to what you've created, but there's also kind of, this is maybe the cherry on top, but there is an emotional benefit to going onto Public Square and pulling up the map where you can say businesses near me. You can separate it by category if you want. So if you're looking for someone to cut your hair, if you're looking for someone to work on your car, if you're looking for someone to paint your home, to know these people are my people. And when I invite them into my home and I hand them some of my hard-earned dollars, I'm not putting them in the hands of somebody who might actually hate and despise me while they're painting my home. To know that you're not so alone. Every time I open the Public Square app, I have it on my phone, I have an account, and I have used it before to find people for various services. I'm always just kind of hard. I don't need all of these services, but I kind of want to go learn more about them and support them if I can.
We had a person reach out recently who said, hey, I love you guys, but I'm also rather frustrated. I have blown out my budget this month because I've created these amazing relational connections as a part of these transactions. And that's exactly what you're talking about. We wanted to create an environment where folks could know that the most fundamental aspect of a transaction is protected in this exchange. And that's truly trust. If I don't trust the person I'm buying from, this transaction will not bear fruit. It's the most fundamental element of finding a new real estate agent, getting a plumber to come to your house, buying a new product. You trust that what they're telling you is going to be accurate. What better way to assure trust than to have the same values, the same worldview? And, right now, Main Street specifically is under attack. The country has largely forgotten small business America. And one of the things we're proud to say is that we have 80,000 small businesses on our platform that all have aligned around these certain values in your communities so that you can revitalize Main Street again. The global supply chains are failing. People want American-owned and operated businesses that'll hold to these more conservative classical ideas. And people love it when they see customer service reinvigorated into the transaction. I mean, Annie, that's something that has completely gone the way of the dinosaurs the past decade. Customer service has just collapsed in this country, not on Public Square.
Yeah.
If you go to these businesses on Public Square, people are blessed all the time to receive handwritten letters of thanks from these small businesses. You just can't duplicate that experience, and it's needed now more than ever.
Well, I encourage people listening right now to go to publicsquare.com or go to your app store, the Play Store, and find Public Square, download it, and set up an account right now. It's not just about, it's extra special to know that these people have aligned in a lot of different ways. Sometimes you want to just go into a place and just get the job done too. And that you're not safe from that when if you need a new service, if you need to find a new contractor or a new provider of a product or a service, and you go out into the wild, wild west, more often than not, there are political overtures that are put in front of you that you have to bear, that maybe you're like, I just would like my tire to be fixed or whatever it might be. And it's like, why? Probably not at a tire store, but maybe some of these other places. And it's so burdensome that it really, I think, is part of the cause why people shut down and don't want to stand up for their values. This is a really good way to not have to, you don't have to go to somewhere in Public Square and come in and be like, Trump supporter. And, you're not sticking your hand out. It's bigger than that. It's broader than that. It's actually more granular than that, to be able to just go somewhere, have a head nod, know that you're doing business with good people.
Well, that's exactly right. There was a hardware store on Public Square I went to last Saturday, and I walked in, and you would never think anything about politics when you walk in. It's just a good classic Americana-inspired hardware store. It's a local hardware store that helps you not have to feel like you're just funding the corporate oligarchy of Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever else you're stuck with. Instead, you get a real sense of local community. One thing I noticed when I checked out, no conversation around politics or anything like that. I said, hey, I found you on Public Square. And he said, oh, God bless you. And that was it. That was an interaction. And
That's
I thought how cool
words.
it was.
Yeah.
It was. It said a lot in 3 words. And I think it's important for consumers to know that you're not supposed to be lectured about politics when you're trying to shop. Like, that's not something we should become accustomed to, although it's become the way our American economy has been focused with Pride Month or whatever different political thing is happening. Public Square is kind of a break from that. And what's cool is that while all the businesses on our platform largely share the same values, the consumer side is actually pretty diverse in ideology. In fact, we did a big research study of our consumer base, over 2 million people recently, and discovered that 26% of our members on the platform on the consumer side that are shoppers are actually registered Democrats.
Wow.
22% are registered independents. Only 52% are registered Republicans. So what's amazing is that this more conservative message of excellence and meritocracy and going back to the basics and supporting our Constitution, like, these businesses will never lecture you about gender ideology or any of that nonsense. That message is actually resonating with a wide array of Americans that cross even political boundaries, which I think shows you how frustrated Americans are with the status quo, but also how hopeful they are for a solution. And that gives me a lot of hope every morning when I wake up and am reminded of truly our opportunity here.
We're speaking with Michael Seifert. He's the CEO of Public Square. Go to publicsquare.com or find Public Square in your app store and download it. I promise you'll be happy that you did. You've created value for businesses who are involved in a partnership with you. We have, the radio is free. I always tell people you don't have to put the quarter in the machine to hear the Andy Fry Show, and it's one button and the Andy Fry Show is gone. So we have a community here. It's kind of a similar service where we talk about things, we stand for things, and we are supported by people who align with those. Or the other thing is value the consumer that we speak to on a regular basis. That's how I feed my children. So what do you say to those businesses out there that want to tap into that consumer through Public Square, what's the mechanism to making their business be listed on your platform?
Well, it's very simple. You can head to publicsquare.com and you can either hit the account tab and you'll see a place where you can add your business. You can scroll down half the page and you'll see another call to action to add your business on the homepage there. We try to make it very easy to discover throughout the process, and it's free. It's free to join. So you actually begin to create your profile. You sign off on our core values, agreeing to respect those values, meaning you're not going to spend time, money, or resource antagonistically against those core values. Our team then does a vetting process for quality and values, hits the green button, and you're live on the platform. That generally happens within a few hours. It's very simple. Only takes about 5 minutes for the business to create its profile. And if you're an e-commerce business, you can actually link your products and you can sell them right there from our platform. I think for businesses to recognize that consumers want you. They want a differentiated marketplace experience. They are tired of feeling like they only have 4 options to shop from, and they're all mega corporate entities that are in bed with a progressive government out of DC. That's what the world has kind of tried to convince us of. But in reality, Main Street, small business America is still what it exists as the backbone of our economy. And Public Square exists to protect you all. So I've seen amazing success stories of small businesses that join the platform. They don't pay anything. They just have a free listing, and they're amazed by the traffic that they actually receive as an uptick. It's really refreshing to know that we have a ability, at least in a small part, to help those small businesses succeed. We need them now more than ever.
Well, Michael Seifert, as I started this segment, there are people who want to put up their hand and stop sign and say no and move on. And there are people who see problems and look for solutions. And you're a solution finder. And Public Square is a wonderful solution for consumers who want great service, great products, and don't want to get bullied in the process of just getting through the day and getting what they need to have get done. Thank you for being on with us. And I encourage folks to go subscribe, go to publicsquare.com or get the app on your app store. Michael, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to talk to you.
Of course. I look forward to doing it again soon. That's Michael Seifert. He is the CEO, chairman, president, and founder of Public Square. I am a customer of it myself, a user. I enjoy looking through. And when you go through, maybe somebody who you already patronize is on there. You're like, oh, okay. All right. Then you try to figure out when you can get back there. Publicsquare.com. Go check it out. We're going to take a quick break. We'll get Ryan Wiggins back in studio here in just a minute. Go vote on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. We hear today, this morning, Ronna McDaniel will be stepping down after Super Tuesday. That's a week from tomorrow. Here's the YouTube live chat poll. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Yes or no? Let us know what you think. Leave a comment. We'll be right back.
There's something about you.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
This rush, take it away. Man, it feels so good. I gotta feel it. We gotta feel it. We get a feeling like we could die.
Air Comfort Service is there for all your HVAC needs. I could talk to you about your furnace, but it's 77 degrees outside. I'm going to take a pitch on that one. I want to talk to you about their commercial repairs. I've mentioned many times how they have serviced my home. Residentially, they are top-notch. They make sure that if you're struggling with your HVAC system, that they can come in and check it out and do whatever maintenance needs to be done to avoid those costly repairs that might occur down the road. But they also work with commercial repairs. If you have, if you yourself are the business owner, a building manager, operations manager, office manager, and you've been told recently that your HVAC system is going to need some kind of repair, call Air Comfort Service, Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091 and get a free second opinion on heat exchanger or compressor repairs. Just reach out to them and get that second opinion for free. You've got nothing to lose and maybe a lot to save. 314-513-0091. Call a company that you can trust for your HVAC repairs. It's who I trust if I have a loved one that would need some sort of HVAC repair and I was going to send someone to their house. I would not hesitate a second to send Air Comfort Service to that destination. 314-513-0091 or online at aircomfortservice.com.
Mark Cox here. You know, people have been listening to my advice about Hampton Manor of Wentzville, and the feedback is outstanding for the people that have paid a visit. This is a beautiful, brand new senior living community just off Highway 70, north of the Lake St. Louis exit. You should go see them. All of the amenities you could imagine, a hair and nail salon, a movie theater, a personal chef. Schedule your tour today at wentzvilleassistedliving.com. That's wentzvilleassistedliving.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for a brand new sponsor to the show, Master.com. That's MASTOR.com. If your phone system does not allow you to be anywhere in the world, if it is not connected to the cloud, if it is not partnered with Nuso, which is a St. Louis company and a nationwide leader in cloud-based phone systems, then you are with the wrong company. We are local, we're family-owned, we are great at what we do. Once again, find us at Mastor, MASTOR.com. That's Master.com for the best phone service.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Victory Men's Health is making it easier than ever before to feel like your old self again. Mark Cox here from my friends at Victory Men's Health. Now they're offering telehealth. You reside in Illinois or Missouri, the process is easy. Just go to their website, pick the service you're interested in. Maybe it's semaglutide for weight loss or hormone therapy or micronutrient testing. Once you've made your selection and your results are in, they'll do a video telehealth consult to review. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves for the month of love. Get 3 rooms cleaned starting at $119, plus they're throwing in a free hallway and take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Call 314-474-2020 and say you heard it here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
McKelvey Homes is offering huge savings on 12 market homes at the Preserve in Afton. Savings up to $80,000 and special McKelvey financing of 5.99%, 30-year fixed, or 4.875% in first year with our 2-1 buydown. Choose from their carefree villas with a sale price of $486,000 to our luxurious designer series on wooded estate lots. Several are ready for immediate move-in. Hurry, these deals won't last long. Visit McKelveyHomes.com.
Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman, yes or no? This is, of course, in light of Ronna McDaniel going to resign her position on Super Tuesday. That is the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day. Let us know if it matters to you who serves as party chairman. We'll give you the results at the end of the show. It's 1:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Fact-checking the fact-checkers daily. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
There's a destination a little up the road from the habitations of the towns we know. A place we saw the lights turn low, the jigsaw jazz and the get fresh flow. Pulling out jobs and jamboree handouts, 2 turntables and a microphone. Bottles and cans, or just clap your hands, or just clap your hands. Where's that?
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's Monday. I think February is the longest month of the year. I'm pretty comfortable saying that out loud.
Yeah, I think the science supports that.
Yes, the science does. Yeah. I have identified as mid-March for about 2 weeks now. It's not March.
You're right. I have too. And I don't think it's just because it's a leap year. It seems like after Valentine's Day, February was over, and we should be well into March, if not April by now.
Oh, I think you just pinpointed it for me. Valentine's Day was Catchers and Pitchers Report Day. I think that my brain just flips a switch then, and all we are in is cold spring, no longer warm winter.
Doesn't hurt that it's been 70 and maybe 80 tomorrow. Oh, my gosh. That makes it feel like this is not February.
My screen says it's 77 degrees on the left, and my screen on the right says temps to plummet.
No.
I'm literally reading it
Not
here right
until
now.
Wednesday. Not until Wednesday.
Well, let's just see what the old Microsoft computer says.
Well, if Microsoft says it, it must be true.
It's manufactured. The weather. I don't really care. Temperatures to plummet on Wednesday. And I quote.
So it is.
Yeah. I like how it's going to be 81st, but the headline is it's going to get cold.
Yeah, like
What
the
kind of
80
bad
degrees is
attitude
kind of
does
a
this
big deal.
Computer have. It's real cranky.
Yeah, it's going to possibly be a record-breaking day tomorrow. And the
gonna suck on
deadline is,
Wednesday.
well, get ready for bad weather.
Yeah. Don't you love the don't get used to it people?
Yeah.
Aren't the don't get used to it people the worst?
I can be that person sometimes, though.
Well,
We all are that person at times, aren't we?
it's very it's like, how stupid are you? That's what I hear when someone says don't get used to it. I assume they think I'm really dumb. Like if you didn't say don't get used to it, I would have just lived a blissfully ignorant life until something crazy happened, like it got cold on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying?
I do, but I don't take that approach. I just think, oh, I was kind of looking forward to that moment. That I know it's not normal, but you just reminded me what is normal, and you're right. I should bring it back down.
Are you a don't get used to it person?
No. I'm just going to enjoy it while it's there person.
You sound so forlorn.
Yeah, just enjoy it while it's there. Because it's not going to be there forever. Don't get used to it.
He's talking into the sky when he speaks. Who's up there?
I think it's God.
That's the marijuana guy up there. No wonder you feel so good and chill.
Yeah, that's it.
I know that the air feels clean right now, but I'm gonna get used to it, guy. I'm assume that the marijuana's gonna come down pretty soon.
Are you okay?
I was doing my Brad impression.
This is Inside Baseball. There's somebody in very close proximity to the 97.1 studio that isn't on our floor and doesn't work in our build.
And we have no idea who it is.
It's not about working in our building. They're not 97.1 people or part
They're
of
not
our system.
Odyssey people at all.
And on the floor above us, there's something going on. And it's just, I actually don't even think that there's marijuana. I think they just have a marijuana smell machine.
Yeah, it's a
and they
candle
just turn
with a
it
fan
on,
next
and then
to it.
it's just like, it's down to the 97.1. See if we can influence anything that they do or say. Yesterday afternoon was the trivia night that my husband and I put together for the 8th grade class trip. We talked about this quite a bit. And Brad and Ryan both were at a table at the trivia night. And we had said on Friday, I'd asked you if you'd like to publicly grade me on it. And you said you did.
I did. I kept track of not only our score, but your score.
Oh, okay.
As a scorekeeper.
Did I win or lose?
The hard part is that I knew going into this that you would think through the whole day pretty well. So you set a high bar for yourself. That's the problem. And then you achieved that. And so I came in with my expectations met. So.
Is that a compliment?
I think so.
Does it hurt?
I don't know. Yeah, a little bit.
Is it
because
itchy?
it was a pretty good trivia night. Like if I didn't know you and I just walked in completely cold and was like, oh, okay, let's do a trivia night, I would have thought, man, those are some pretty creative categories.
Uh-huh.
And the questions were, it was like so thought through that you'd go, dang, the person had to put in a lot of effort, because I've been to some trivia nights where there's a lot of back and forth about, oh, these are too easy or these are too hard, or there are multiple answers to questions at times. I mean, I deal with that with X's and O's. I got to make sure that what I'm asking is so specific.
I was
that
kind of
there can only
annoyed
be one
when
answer.
I found out you were going to be there, because I was going to lean onto some X's and O's resources for you.
Oh, yeah?
Or at least like a category.
Yeah. Everybody was annoyed when they found out I was going to be there.
Especially your wife.
It's true. It was a long afternoon, and she spent it with the kids, and I spent it having fun.
She
For a
had
good-
fun too.
For a good cause.
Yeah, for a good cause. It was a good trivia night. I mean, I guess not night. It was afternoon.
Which I think is the highlight.
I'll tell you what.
Having it in an afternoon, I'm not mad about that at all.
I said this last week too, that at about round 8, people go, "What round is this?" And then you go, "Oh man, we still got 2 more." That happened, but you looked at the clock and you went, it's only 5.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't as big of a deal. So that does make a big difference. And I think going forward, if people do nighttime now, and maybe this isn't you, maybe you want to do a late night. That's fine too. But if you don't, if you're not trying to keep there, you just plan on if you're starting at 6 or 7, you're going to be there till 11 or midnight.
It's a lot.
You have to know that going into it. And I've been to ones where they only did 7 or 8 categories.
Oh, really?
And they weren't. And so it was kind of it was like a 15-hole golf tournament.
Don't you feel like you're missing out though a little bit if you get to 7 or 8 and that's it?
No, not entirely. If they say ahead of time, this is what it is.
Depends on depends on the quality of the night.
Yeah. If it's a very, very, I've been to trivia nights where the trivia was like a sport, and those you feel like you miss out on something because you're very competitive. I've also been to trivia nights where it's a chicken and beer dance.
Yes, and there's trivia happening.
And there just so happens to be trivia. In those, nobody really cares. You're just there kind of drinking and eating, catching up with your random people you haven't seen in a long time.
Brad was there. You supervised Ryan well.
Yeah,
He didn't embarrass the family.
Supervised him. He made me laugh. He made our table laugh.
Made you cry.
He
range of emotions.
He
The
contributed.
Brad range of
He
emotions.
talked Will Scharf out of a good correct answer into an incorrect answer.
Nice job.
Yeah, I did.
I wrote a U.S. Constitution category, and then on Friday, Brad's like, "Hey, I asked Will Scharf if he'd be at my table. Is that okay?" And I was like, "I don't care. Is there a reason why that would be a problem?" and then I had 2 categories written. I had one for math, and I knew Terry is like a very elite math teacher.
Brad's wife.
And I wrote that out, and I thought, I'm not changing it. And then I had Constitution. One of them was Washington, D.C. And they were all centered around the idea that we were going on an 8th grade class trip. So I wanted the categories to constantly shine a light back on the 8th graders who were taking this Washington, D.C. class trip, that these people came to this trivia night to help them. That's the point, is that we're here to raise money for these kids. And that slang category.
That was fun.
I did a slang
That was
category.
hard.
Well, it really depends on who you are.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you are either 100% or 0%.
I was 0.
I think I might have. Well, I don't know. I don't know. It was very difficult. I was really nervous about it. And one of the things that we did was you could pay $10 a round and hire an 8th grader to come help you with that round.
Super smart, creative thing to do.
Excellent
It
job.
really was creative.
And it made the 8th graders participate
Yeah.
instead of be bumps in the log, which is the natural state of existence of a 14-year-old person.
Yeah.
It's to sit there and be like, oh.
I'm just like too uninterested in this for it to even exist.
No, the kids were great, and I hope helpful. We had a spelling category.
That's the first time I've ever seen. That's what I mean is the categories were creative.
I don't know
there were
that I would-
categories I've never seen.
If I weren't doing one centered around a class trip or a specific class purpose like that, I don't know that I would be like, hey, it's a spelling bee. But
I've never seen a math category before.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just math equations.
well, no, it was not.
Mostly.
No, it was not.
Fill in the blank with quotes. That was cool.
Thank
Never
you.
seen that
Ryan,
one
we
before.
had 2 math teachers on our team.
Yes.
It was fine.
Well, yeah, we didn't. We were just like, go
We
for
just
it.
kind
you
of
guys.
slid that one over and we cracked jokes the
I
whole
have
time.
all this. I haven't gone and looked at the score sheet. I needed some time away from trivia night for the last probably 15 hours. I'm going to go see how people did in these categories. I'm going to see how you guys did in these categories. All right. 2 o'clock hour. Go vote in the YouTube poll. We'll be right back.
Members only, hypnotizers move through the room like ambulance drivers.
Okay, I'm ready to record my jewelry store's new radio spot. We got a great script that really goes after Diamonds Direct and how they're nothing special and how we can match their price. Great stuff. Yeah.
Great. And we have this new technology that bleeps out any false claims, so it saves us time with editing. So you can start anytime.
Okay, here it goes. When you visit our jewelry store, we'll absolutely guarantee direct. Our diamonds come straight from the mine. We have cutters and. Hey, what the?
The hard truth is that other jewelry stores simply can't do what Diamonds Direct can. Diamonds Direct has special relationships with De Beers, international connections, and virtually unlimited buying power. The result is true direct importer pricing, exceptional quality, and up to 30 times the diamond selection you find at other stores.
I can't believe this thing won't let me say
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get more truth at diamondsdirect.com.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The needs of modern businesses are always changing, but corporate cards haven't evolved in decades. Until now. Meet Ramp, the all-in-one finance platform that combines corporate cards with spend management software. Ramp is the only card designed to actually help your business spend less, not more. With Ramp, you can set custom controls to stop out-of-policy spend before it even happens. And Ramp software even does expense reports for you. No more manual entries, no more chasing receipts. And with best-in-class accounting integrations, you'll close your books in days, not weeks. Ramp gives you better insights and a real-time view of all company spend, so you can stay focused on the big picture and build a healthier business. Join over 15,000 businesses who have switched to Ramp and start saving an average of 5%. Modern finance runs on Ramp. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. That's ramp.com/free.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A pledge to do better at the Pentagon. And Lisa Brady, Fox News, just released a 30-day review of how the Defense Secretary's recent hospitalization was handled. He's already apologized for it. Pentagon spokesman Major General Pat Ryder.
Office of the Director of Administration and Management conducted this review. They found nothing during the review that demonstrated any indication of ill intent or attempt to obfuscate by the individuals involved.
The new report highlights that the Secretary's staff was limited in several ways, including medical privacy laws. 8 recommendations are included in the report. 2 have already been implemented. The Pentagon also says Secretary Austin is following the situation involving the death of an airman who set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy while shouting Free Palestine. Ryder calling it a tragic event. President Biden in New York City for a campaign meeting. On Thursday, he and former President Trump each plan to visit the southern border. The president will hold meetings in Brownsville, Texas.
That sector he's visiting, it's been slow and at times dead for some months now. Daily encounters there average between 200 to 400 per day. That compared to San Diego and Tucson, where we have between 1,000 and 2,000 migrant encounters per day.
Fox Business's Madison Allworth. Tomorrow, President Biden meets with the top 4 congressional leaders ahead of a deadline Friday to avoid a partial government shutdown.
The White House says President Biden will also stress the urgency of passing a bipartisan national security supplemental spending bill that includes about $60 billion in military aid for Ukraine. The Senate approved the legislation earlier this month, but House Republican leaders have not yet set a vote, insisting the package also include tougher border provisions.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm Chris Riccobono, founder of Untuck It. When I started the brand, I wanted to make the perfect fitting untucked shirt. And over the years, we changed the way guys think about how they dress. The secret was our obsession over fabric quality, listening to what our customers wanted and making everything fit perfectly. Our fit team has mastered pants, polos, sports coats, and more, so we've got you covered from head to toe. Try what millions of guys already know and love. Shop today at untuckit.com or our 80-plus stores worldwide.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app, so climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
The surge of spring continues all afternoon with strong winds, lots of sunshine, 75 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, still windy all night long, mild, 58 for the low. Tuesday, still ahead of the front, partly sunny, very windy, record warmth near 80 degrees. Tuesday, 79. Rain and thunderstorms Tuesday evening. Some could be strong to severe, colder late night, 35. The high Wednesday, only 39, 40. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Life is challenging and ever-changing, so take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how, learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com for our special offer. A financial freedom membership for only $297. That's 60% off the regular price. Enter promo code 2024. Learn to retire through real estate investing from the best. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Learn the path to retiring at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Code 2024.
Our goal at NeoVitan is to make supporting your nutrition as easy as possible. That's why we created the NeoVitan monthly subscription. Just go to neovitan.com, choose your multivitamin, sign up, and we will do the rest. You'll receive your NeoVitan multivitamin every month with no long-term obligation. You can pause or cancel at any time, and shipping is free. Each NeoVitan multivitamin includes our physician-formulated proprietary blend for nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Start supporting your nutrition the easy way with NeoVitan multivitamins. Sign up for a NeoVitan subscription today at neovitan.com.
Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The attorneys at Allies Tax Relief are your ally and will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or them levying your bank account. Call 800-230-5174.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. It's all here on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
It's 2:07 on a Monday afternoon. Ryan, you can take it from here. Go on.
All right. Anybody watch that video of Taylor Lorenz? I sure did.
I was hoping you were going to say, I didn't. Can you tell me about it? We were just talking off the air about, I asked him, I go, did I tease anything for the 2 o'clock hour? Lots of things moving here on any given day. And the radio pro thing to do, as Ryan will tell you in the business, I'm supposed to tell you what we're going to talk about next so that you don't go anywhere, so that you listen longer. That's the nuts and bolts of it. sometimes I don't know what we're going to talk about next. Sometimes I know that we have a guest scheduled next, and I know that guest is maybe there 2 out of 3 times, and I don't want to tease it if I feel like maybe they might not show up. So you kind of just figure it out. And I was saying to Brad and Ryan, one of the things that I love so much about being a part of this show is that I go into the 2 o'clock hour, I said 3 out of 5 times a week, not 100% sure what we're talking about next while the intro is playing.
Yeah, it's great. That's one of my favorite parts, too.
Yeah?
Because I can look over sometimes and be like, oh, there she goes. She's digging like a mole for a worm.
Do moles dig for worms?
Listen, I'm not here to dissect the nature of worms
grubs
and moles.
Do moles dig for worms?
Listen, again.
Now, stop saying listen like a politician who is so freaking wrong.
Look.
What? Yeah.
That's how you do it right there. And then you say whatever you want.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Hey, no, wait, hang on.
Do moles dig for worms? Yes or no?
Listen.
Ah!
There was one time, Annie.
Let me be clear.
Watch how this is how politicians
Let me
do
get my
this.
Biden bingo card out. Go on.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, that's a great question. Listen, here's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about the fact that when I was probably 26 years old, now I'm going into a personal story. This is how they do it. I was having a yard sale in my front yard.
I'm disinterested.
And there were so many people stopping by. I lived on Main Street at the time. There's so many people stopping by. We didn't even have to put ads out. It was great. We just put stuff in the front yard.
Put ads out.
That was America.
It's great. It was, yeah. This was an American dream. It was putting stuff in your front yard.
You're getting lost in your own made-up story.
No, hang on. And so there were so many people walking around my front yard that the grass was all trampled by the end of the day. I saw that we had a mole in the front yard. I forgot about that little mole that day.
Maybe it's because you stopped feeding it.
Until later in the day when I realized that the mole had been freaked out all day by the amount of stomping in my front yard. He didn't know what to do. So he had curled up in a little ball that was barely covered by dirt next to my sidewalk. You know what he did right at the end of the day? He peeked his head out.
I hope he died so the story ends.
No, he peeked his head out.
Is this done?
And he looked to see if anybody was around because it was starting to slow down a little bit. And that's
Ryan.
the first time I saw him. And you know what I did? I stepped on him.
Ryan! Read Tom's comment.
Okay.
What do you not have the scream?
Tom says, yes, worms are on their diet.
All right, we're taking Tom's word for it.
Thank you, Tom.
Do worms dig for moles? That's the real takeaway here. Did you watch SNL?
In clips.
In clips?
I watched a lot of clips, though.
I want to go back. Dare I say, I want to maybe want to watch the whole episode. I watched his, this is from his commercial. I watched his monologue, and he took shots at everybody.
Yes, he did.
And are people upset about it?
No, but they're pretending to be if you work at Vanity Fair.
Isn't that the job description?
That's pretty much what you do.
I was going to say, that's just a Monday.
Yeah.
What is the criticism at Vanity Fair? Have you read it?
I think that he used the R word.
Yes, he said in his monologue, he referred to Down syndrome people he has a niece who has Down syndrome, and he did say the word retarded in it.
And then they also said, I didn't catch this one. He said something about like a gay joke that was off color, but I don't know what they were referring to. But so they were really up in arms about that because it offended their sensibilities.
Michael Knowles of the Daily Wire, who I really appreciate Michael Knowles because he doesn't come off to me the way he feels to me more cultural and socially interested than he does the normal political slap fights that I participate in. I just feel like when Michael Knowles is reacting to something, I'd be more interested in sitting at an event at a table kind of in the back where we could whisper things back and forth because I think we would have a similar sense of humor. But he was talking about the monologue where, as you pointed out, he is talking about a family member who has Down syndrome, which I have seen him on multiple reels and stuff as he comes up in my timeline. He talks about this as part of his stand-up. He didn't decide to go in on this topic on SNL. SNL knows that this is what he talks about when he normally does stand-up, and he was there. So it's not like he got on Saturday Night Live as a host and then all of a sudden brought this one out, and they're like, whoa, what are you doing? They should have known. This is what Michael Knowles tweeted about this, and I just can't. I want to find Michael Knowles and high-five him for this. Conservatives will sometimes make jokes about mentally retarded people, but then also celebrate them and defend their right to life. While liberals won't even say the word retarded for fear of offending the people they advocate exterminating in the womb.
It's a bold statement.
I'd go to break. Because what I just said there to the activist left, the most offensive thing in that sentence is the fact that Michael Knowles typed out the word retarded. And I understand why people don't like that word. I do not use that word. If my kids said it, I would correct them and say, don't say that word. Because I understand the musical application of that word. I understand that there is a medical application of that word. And society has taken that word and turned it into a pejorative that I just don't like. So if I have control around a certain space of which I just refer to, me or my children, I will control that space. I can't control what another person says. I can choose to relate with them or to them or not. But the word exists. And in comedy, it's almost, is it safe to say that the R word and the N word socially have been put somewhere, maybe not in the same box, but in the same cabinet where the boxes are stored?
Yeah, they're stored in the same cabinet.
Yeah, they're off limits.
I hear the other word in comedy all the time.
Well, that's true.
So I don't think it's outrageous to think that you're going to, but honestly, let me ask you this question. Which word do you hear used more often in comedy? Don't say the word.
Yeah, the N word.
With much more frequency than what Shane Gillis was saying. The left's aggressive battle with how you talk isn't actually about the word itself. It's about the power that having control over vocabulary is consolidated on one side against another side. And it supersedes the idea that there are European countries, and I'm sure countries other places, but Europe is usually where these stories are told the most in my experience. There are European countries, and there is a state that I live in that will willfully allow you to find out that your baby has Down syndrome, and you can just kill it. The idea that that child that has Down syndrome, and if you listen to what Shane Gillis says, he goes, these are the happiest people you will ever meet in your life. And if you know someone who has Down syndrome, you know that while they aren't the same as people who don't have Down syndrome, they are blessings, and those blessings abound with every single person they come into contact with. There is only one political party that advocates for the discovery that that is the condition that exists with the child being carried in a womb that is reason to kill that baby. And for Michael Knowles to point out that liberals won't even say the word retarded for fear of offending the people they advocate exterminating in the womb, I mean, that just swoops down and hits me hard because it is so on the point true. If it were up to me, if Shane Gillis called me and was like, hey, I'm going to say the R word, you can tell me not to and I won't do it. Would I tell him not to? I would tell him, I feel uncomfortable when I hear that word. I don't like to hear that word. I don't want to really be around that word when it's used as a way to joke about people. And then I would let him do whatever it is that he's going to do because that's the way this country works. You get to speak for yourself. And I get to hear that word and judge the choice to implement that word. If I'm listening to music and there are, the other word is involved in it, I can choose to be around that word or I can choose to not be around that word. But I'm not like calling up the artist going, this is absolutely offensive and you need to stop this right now. but I do get to make my choice. Because to me, those are words. When a political movement wants to take those words and use them to destroy people, to cancel people, to take power over those people, and in the meantime, that power allows them to do things like the state of Illinois, what they have done with abortion rights. They want to be the destination in the Midwest, if not the country, for abortion. How upside down is it to like pull your hair out over a word when you look at what they're willing to justify? What's the phrase? What's the line you always say? Something about booze, and I know what makes you.
Oh, yeah. I know what makes you cheer. Your booze mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Yeah. That's where I am on it.
Yeah. I really like it's almost like the subject matter and the word aside and words aside. I really like when anybody, and this usually is the role of comedy, is willing to do something publicly that's just sort of going into territory that everybody said is off limits. You can't do that. It's sacrosanct. They bring out these Fabergé eggs every now and then, and they have gloves and they hold them up and they go, look at this thing. You cannot, you can only participate in this thing and touch it in the ways that I say. And they set it back down. And a comedian comes along and just says, what would it be like if I got my fingerprints on that a little bit? I really like that. And we need more of that. And to see it on Saturday Night Live is good because that's an American institution that he's going around kind of poking the bear on, and we need more of that.
Yeah, but to Annie's point, the whole thing about this is that to the leftists, when you look at this topic and the way Michael Knowles laid it out, to the leftists, it's more important to sound virtuous than to actually be virtuous. You know, it's more important to them that you know that I don't use the R word. I don't particularly like them because I want them exterminated in the womb, but I don't use that word. That's horrible.
It's a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel on Facebook says, FYI, mental retardation is not a medical diagnosis anymore and not in the DSM-V manual for over a decade now. It should not be used and is absolutely in line with the N-word. Just to clarify my words in case that is needed, I think what I said was that I understand how it has been used in the medical community. So I don't think I said that it was a medical diagnosis, but I think Rachel makes a very good point, and I want to make sure that it gets included in the show here so we can be factual. See, this segment started with us wondering if moles dig for worms.
That's what's great about the 2 o'clock hour. You start wherever you want, and you end. You never know where it goes.
Do they?
Do we need to talk more about moles and worms?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to, before we go to the break here, I'm going to play you a part of Shane Gillis's White Men Can't Trump skit where he gets a pair of the golden tennis shoes. And when he puts the tennis shoes on, the question that is posed at the beginning is that he's bad at basketball, but he gets these sneakers and he puts them on. And he puts them on so he can be good at basketball, but it doesn't make him any better at basketball, but he just pretends like he is.
He's just more confident.
He's just very much more confident. And then he starts turning into Donald Trump. And the funny thing is, as a Trump supporter, I thought, this is so well done.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was so funny. Listen to this, and we'll be back in just a minute here.
Why am I such a loser?
But that's all about to change.
Gordon, thought you could use these. Donald J. Trump? Whoa, Trump never surrenders sneakers? Awesome. I'm open.
And Gordon Dwyer's about to find out that winning...
Come on, man, how you miss that?
...is a state of mind.
I didn't miss. It went in.
All right. From Newsmax Studios and the writer of Like Mike comes another magical sneaker movie for white people.
So you're saying these Trump shoes made you good at basketball? No, they gave me the power to say I'm good at basketball and then double down on that until people actually start to believe it.
Now he gets whatever he wants.
Mr. Mitchell, everybody's saying I should have your office because my cubicle is a disaster right now.
Well, can I have a minute to gather my things?
Bye-bye.
So more from Shane Gillis. We'll share the video at Annie Fry Show on Twitter. Let's talk a little bit more about some more fun and interesting news stories. Of course, that happened over the weekend. There's a lot of news that's been going on. We haven't even really talked about Nikki Haley in South Carolina. Not that there's really that much to talk about. Stick around. Go vote in the Annie Fry YouTube channel live chat poll. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Yes or no? Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I want to talk to you about Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group. When you have gotten to the point where you're in your mid to late 50s, in your 60s, even if you've already retired, you need to make sure that you make some shifts in how you manage your money because you're getting close to that place where you need to pay yourself on that money. You can't afford any of those really scary downturns that might possibly happen. I know a lot of us very closely remember 2008. You need to be in good hands. And Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw at the Retirement Advisor Group, those are your good hands. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. You give them a call at the Retirement Advisory Group and you say, I'm interested in sitting down for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. It's not going to cost you anything. You don't have to do anything. You just get to listen to what they have to say and how they position you to win in retirement. And you reach out and call them and set up that appointment. Let me know how it goes, too. I love hearing from you. You can find them online at retirementkey.com.
Spring training is here, and it's almost time to embrace the essence of summer and let the soothing tones of Cardinals baseball transport you to warm, sun-soaked days. With the free Odyssey app, relive the joy of tuning in with your transistor radio, now seamlessly connecting you to every St. Louis Cardinals game on KMOX. Wherever your summer takes you, make sure to download the Odyssey app today and savor the sounds of Cardinals baseball. That's AUDACY, redefining your summer soundtrack. Live games available for fans and market only.
When you're selling your home, you want the most money and the least hassle. That's exactly what you get when you work with my friend and trusted realtor, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Mark Cox here. Selling your home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. That's why having an expert on your side is crucial. Right now, other agents know that some sellers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price. This can be a dangerous strategy. Most of the time, it ends up being an empty promise. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. She makes guarantees in writing. It's simple. Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-to price and time frame, or she'll buy it. Guaranteed in writing. Take it from me. Pick up the phone and call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit her online anytime and tell her you heard Mark Cox talking about it. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Imagine having all the money you need for retirement, all the income, every month, guaranteed. That's Secure Future Investor, an indexed annuity tied to growth in the stock market, but without any risk of loss ever. It's guaranteed money for life income, no matter how long you live. Call 888-509-2228. 888-509-2228. Sponsored by GP Agency, Inc., Raleigh, North Carolina. Licensed in all states. Performance may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health from Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health from Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If your furnace isn't working, get in your comfort zone with 55 years of award-winning HVAC service from Air Comfort Service. Mention the Annie Fry Show to save $55 off any service repair at aircomfortservice.com.
There are many ways to listen. Most choose radio. But have you tried streaming? Download the Odyssey app and you can stream 97.1 with one touch. Or try it touchless by telling your smart speaker to play it.
Along the way to close my eyes, I lost where I was going, the more it will spin, more that I try to stop my mind blowing away.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Yeah, I've noticed this. We were talking in the first segment about Shane Gillis, his monologue. We played a little bit of the clip from his commercial about Trump sneakers, which was hilarious. But when we talk about people being able to say things that offend you versus eliminating things that can be said because it might offend somebody, there's a common human decency factor that should be in there as part of that equation that doesn't really get talked about. I mean, like the people who are out there saying those types of words to get a rise out of people, just like I'm kind of setting stand-up comedy aside, because if they're not pushing boundaries, nobody's going to pay attention to them. You don't go on a stage all by yourself with just a microphone and a drink and say things that everybody agrees with.
Well,
You got to have some edge.
there's some leftist comics that seem to do that.
Are they funny?
No.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is like a group therapy session more than it is a comedy show. But we societally have become so soft. It is so evident in pretty much every arena that I find myself being in that the softness that we experience is really degrading to society as a whole. Our ability to be in the proximity of something we don't prefer has dwindled.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like it, if you don't like something that's going on, you now are entitled to change the behavior, the existence of, the outcome of the thing that you don't like. But the problem is that's not sustainable in community.
Right.
You actually have to have a lot of patience and a lot of resolve about, you know what, this is who I am. I'm going to show people who I am, and they're going to show me who they are. And then society can judge where they want to gravitate to. But instead of self-reflection, everything about self is okay. In fact, it's actually wonderful. Those parts about you that society would make you feel are bad, those are the best things about you. Celebrate it. Yay. Don't improve it, because if you're improving it, whose standards are you improving it for? You be you. If anybody makes you to feel smaller or less, they're the problem. You don't have anything about you that you need to change. And that is detrimental to a progressive society.
Yeah, nobody likes getting their feelings hurt. So there are powers that kind of prey on that. They go, "Oh, you've had your feelings hurt before. That feels terrible, doesn't it?" Yeah, it does. Well, this person's feelings are hurt now, so we're going to change society based on that. And you kind of go, well, dang it, I don't necessarily agree with all that, but I also don't like getting my feelings hurt. What we've lost is emotional perseverance, because anybody, always, throughout the history of time and into the future, everybody's going to get their feelings hurt at some point. You have to have the ability to sort of go through it. And we have catered all of the whole society of America to the idea that you shouldn't have to go through it. It's a false premise that we're building all this on, and it's based on emotions because it works.
How do you're raising children? Your kids are 9, or the twins are 9?
Yeah.
So my kids, my son is 14, my daughter is 11, and middle school is maybe the meanest time of your life.
That's terrible.
I mean, because everybody's trying to jockey to fit in, and in middle school, there is no building each other up.
No, it is survival to fit in.
Where do I fit in? Who appears to be socially above me? Who appears to be socially below me? If you're socially below me, I can treat you a certain way. If you're socially above me, the way to get ahead of you is to bring you down. That's it. That's the science of middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching, I started coaching 4th graders, and it has been a true test of my patience because 4th, 5th, and going into 6th grade is when kids start to mature. It just kind of across the spectrum. Some kids do it quicker. A lot of times it's if they have older siblings or something. Their home life has a lot of effect on that. If you're the oldest kid, you're less likely to know what it's like to be around older people and have to associate with that. But I have had multiple conversations with specifically my daughter. Like, I come home and I hear what my daughter says. And, like, my favorite one was when she was telling me about this girl in her class, and they just went to school to be mad at each other. And I think this is in 4th grade, maybe. I think it was in 4th grade. And she'd be like, she said to me, she goes, all she does is stare at me all day. I said, how do you know? And she goes, because I see her doing it. I go, don't look at her. And she's like, I can't because she's staring at me all the time. I go, she's telling her mom right now that all you do is stare at her all day. And her mom's going, how do you know? I said, stop looking at her. I said, she's staring at you because you're staring at her. Pay attention to the teacher. And so...
Or wave.
Say hi.
Yeah.
Give her a compliment. And the funny thing is at that age, the thing that is so important for children, no, for parents and adults to remember about these children, is they are trying to figure something out they've never done before. They're trying to do it with their peers around them who are all trying to figure it. All these kids want is to be liked and accepted. That's all that they want. But that doesn't mean that if your kid is doing some punk thing, or if there's something your kid is not doing well, that as a parent, the loving thing for me to do is you just keep doing that and tell them to pound sand. Like, that's ridiculous. But we do that. Like, adults do that. Grown-ups do that. It finally got to the point with these 2 girls where it was 4th grade. I sat them down. We were in practice, and I had an assistant coach. I'm like, do something with these. I want those. And I took my daughter and this girl, and we sat down and had this conversation. I'm like, you guys should be best friends. I know that you're not getting along right now, but you can't even tell me why you're not getting along. You actually should be best friends. And they're both strong, beautiful, wonderful girls. And they're both about to take on the world. And I said, you guys are going to be great at whatever you do. You can either be mortal enemies, or you can take on the world together and have that much more success. And you should probably choose to do that, but neither one of you is going to have success. It's going to eat at you for the rest of your time together. But it's your choice. You have to remember you have a choice. Put the best construction on things and figure out how to make this thing work, because iron sharpens iron, girls. Let's go. Let's figure out how to get along, and let's use our strengths to better one another and ourselves as a whole in the classroom, on the court, on the playground, wherever it might be. And if this girl, Jensen, to my daughter, if you need help with something and you're struggling with it, you need to ask for help. Same thing on the reversal. If she needs help, you need to be the first person in line saying, how do I help you? And those girls are pretty much best friends right now. I don't know if like today specifically. I'd have to ask them. But they're great together. And they had to actively be told to make the choice to do better by people who are willing to criticize them and encourage them to do better. Societally, it's the most amazing part about what is happening in society. This whole like, I'm okay, you're okay, we're all okay thing. Don't improve anything. On the surface, that feels like, okay, if I'm overweight, then I don't need to lose weight. I'm fine just the way I am. So it's not the diet industries. They don't have the power anymore to facilitate this want and desire for something you don't have that they can provide you so that you can get somewhere you aren't right now. There is a huge industry on the other end that is still profiting off of the idea that being unhealthy, which isn't necessarily size or shape, but being overweight, whatever that is where you should stay. There are people who are actively making money off of keeping people in that state of mind. Brad, you see this and comment on this a lot. You've lost 100 pounds over the course of your lifetime. You had for new listeners, Brad, you've had how many heart attacks?
3.
3 heart attacks. The first one when you were
27.
And you were overweight.
Yeah, 330 pounds.
And if that doctor would have said to you, Brad, you're fine just the way you are.
I would have died. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. As a matter of fact, the second heart attack that I had was a direct result of doing all the right things in the first one because I was getting better. Just to kind of lay this out for you, I had a 100% blockage in this one particular artery in my heart. When I started dieting and losing weight, that blockage opened up. And when that blockage opened up, I found out that it opened up because a little blood clot got stuck in that opening and caused a real mild one for my second heart attack. And so when that happened, then the doctor went in there, sucked that little blood clot out, and then was able to put in a stent, which he wasn't able to do before, to open that passage up again. So I would have died. I wouldn't have changed my lifestyle. I wouldn't have done anything. I mean, I was 27 years old eating pizza and nachos, but not like regular nachos, like just meat and cheese only nachos with extra meat and extra cheese. Palate of a 5-year-old, I would have died because I wouldn't have changed my diet, and it would have happened again at a different artery or in a different place in my heart that would have killed me.
And it's not loving for your doctor to make you feel good in that moment.
And you know what? That's what one of the things I appreciate about my doctor is he doesn't hesitate to tell me, hey, this is good, this is bad, and this is why this is bad. He's not there to try to hurt my feelings. He's there to try to help my life. He's there to try to make my life better. And ultimately, people get so caught up in the words that they lose what the words are there trying to do. It's what a person's intentions are behind the words that make them hurtful or not. If your doctor has bad bedside manner, but they're really good at their job and they tell you things, they're telling you things for your benefit. They actually do care about you.
What do you say to the person who thinks that they're fat and they're underweight significantly, but they still look in the mirror and they still feel that they're fat? And you say to them, the way you feel about yourself, that's something you need to embrace, and you enable them to continue down this path of literal destruction because you want to validate their feelings. We don't do that in society, and it does go both ways. You need people, like the takeaway here is that you need people in your life who care more about you than they care about all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a relationship connection that exists where when someone tells you something that you don't prefer to hear, you still need to know your circle of people who are able to deliver that message to you. Those are the people who aren't selling you anything. Those are the people who are stepping in and taking a risk to say something to you that they believe in their heart that you need to hear. When the world won't step up and say it, those people are the ones who will. And absent those people in the lives, specifically of children, the message that's coming out from marketing America is the opposite. To embrace your downfalls and make them your successes. And if you feel like you're a victim in category A, B, C, or D, that's your superpower. That's your strength. How does it feel to be told by people that by virtue of the color of your skin, I know people will try to say that they'll try to make you a bad guy out of this, but you're a victim, and because of that, like just because it's something that you just walked into the room and people saw, that turns you into some sort of victim. That's not really an empowering message for kids who are growing up today. And, Ryan, as you're raising children who are every day at 9, they're certainly seeing the world, and they're taking in as much information as they can on any given basis, and they're trying to put all the pieces of data together to understand the way society functions. It's very hard as a parent to insert yourself in there to make sure that you can't change the way the world functions, but you can teach your kids how to live in a world that is a certain way and react in an appropriate way.
Yeah, and that I'll be here to help you navigate it, because they need badly. They badly want guidance. They want boundaries. And we're in a place right now where the thing we're trying to do to kids more often than not is to remove boundaries off of them. No, that's the opposite of what kids want. It's the opposite of what makes kids thrive, is they need to know the rules. They need to know what's okay and what's not, so that they can figure out how to function within the safety, the confines of those rules. And so we're doing a tremendous disservice to children when we tell them, well, whatever makes you happy. They don't know. In fact, we as adults most of the time don't know. So that message just is so hollow, and we have to be willing to step into, and sometimes it's not even your own kids. If you're a coach, if you're a teacher, sometimes you have to do that, and you got to tread lightly, because you got to know your boundaries too. But setting up boundaries for kids is important.
It is not possible to raise kids that are going to be resilient in what they're going to grow into in our society, wherever they might be, and be soft. You can't be soft. And if other people don't like it, it doesn't matter. We have to be willing to sustain the idea that you can't be comfortable in everything you do and everywhere you go. And the truth of the matter is, the people who are keeping the guardrails up on, all right, this is the what, capital S, safe space that you can be in, where you can feel comfortable and you can feel accepted. What happens the second you step out of that safe space? What are those kids going to do? What are they going to understand? They're going to be criticized. Have you reinforced that there's something about them that is undesirable, that if they just in their mind think, nope, I'm okay, is that going to be enough to withstand what happens to them when they go outside of that safe space guardrail? There needs to be more substance to that. There needs to be a real confidence that even in the face of adversity, that they're going to be strong enough to have those values, have the core confidence that they need to stand up against what is pushing back against them, and understand, you know what, those people don't like me, and I don't care. I don't feel an obligation to have to change their mind about anything. There's no crusade. That person doesn't matter to me because I know who I am. That doesn't seem to be the message today.
No, it's not. And we as we as parents, we don't say no enough either, in love, because there has to be both.
It's important when you're telling your kid no, you say, it's with love.
Well, it has to be, because if you're always no all the time, then it's going to be, it's too stern, it's too mean. You have to be able to tell them no and set up those boundaries, because a lot of parents don't do that. I would say we err on that side of things much more than we do the other. But you got to be able to say no, but you have to be doing it in love, to where the child, maybe even not in that moment, but eventually will know that it was because they loved me that they're saying no.
Yeah, completely agree. YouTube live chat poll. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Some of your responses and the results of today's YouTube live chat poll when we come back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So Jen Teskey, she is with Remax Alliance, and Jen is wonderful. 618-541-1010 if you're looking to buy or sell a home. I have been looking at a lot of real estate lately. We are considering a potential relocation, and I've been watching as prices move and as inventory comes on the market. If you've been thinking about selling right now, spring is upon us. 618-541-1010 on the Illinois side of the river. Jen Teskey is your guide. She is the best, and she has a team, a staff around her to make sure that listing your home is a top priority. If you go to jenteskehomes.com, jenteskehomes.com, you will be able to learn about how her staff can surround you with support, give you the guidance and advice you need to get that top dollar and the sale and the timeline that you're looking for. But I also want to recommend to you, if you're even considering listing your home, Jen Teske needs to be there to guide you through this process, and you'll be so glad. You'll be kind of sad when your house sells super fast because Jen is super fun to be around. 618-541-1010, 618-541-1010, jenteskehomes.com.
Mortgage rates have finally dropped. That's right. Golden Oak has 5.375% fixed rates available right now. Our average cash-out customer saves over $1,000 a month. Call today and take advantage of our 5.375 fixed rate. Call 314-567-GOLD. That's 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.934 APR. FHA 15-year 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Did you all hear what's going on with these energy mandates? You know, I've been told they don't make a lot of sense. And I'm in the business. I agree 100%. Actually, they make zero sense. So here's the easiest thing, and the only thing I have on a recommendation. You're going to need a new furnace or a new air conditioner. Just call me for a just common sense approach to your heating and cooling needs for your house. If your system is old or you just want to replace a system, now just call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest and the only one, Missouri and Illinois, is 314-293-2600. Again, it's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LUME deodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 800.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
The YouTube live chat poll of the day, does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Ronna McDaniel is going to step down next Tuesday. So it's a simple yes or no. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? It is the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll of the day, which we will give you the results of and some comments in a minute or two. It is 2:51. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon as we get started here for Monday. The very latest on Fonny's cell phone records, which kind of broke on Friday. Also, some new crime statistics in St. Louis being questioned. Our friend Jane Duker is going to join us in the 3 o'clock hour. It all starts after Fox News.
Yes! Here comes Amos! Now Amos Moses was a Cajun. He lived by himself in the swamp. He hunted alligator for a living. He'd just knock him in the head with a stump. The Louisiana law gon' get you, Amos.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
It ain't legal hunting alligator down in the swamp, boy.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Everybody blamed his old man for making him mean as a snake. When Amos Moses was a boy, his daddy would use him for alligator bait.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're going to get to the results of the YouTube live chat poll here in a second. Does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? As Ryan just reported there, Ronna McDaniel stepping down after next Tuesday, which is Super Tuesday. Is there any possibility? I mean, Nikki Haley is not going to win any of those states in Super Tuesday.
Not that I've seen.
That would be a big story if she won one state.
Yeah, it would be a big story, it speaks more to the bar that's been set than her possibility of winning anything.
Is she trying to run third party?
No.
Not happening.
I'm confident that she is not.
Why?
Well, she keeps saying that she's not, first of all, which doesn't always mean everything in politics. But I just don't see her. I think she understands her place well enough that she's trying to create an image of herself as this semi-centrist, which she's not entirely. She's very much an old school Republican, so she's not a centrist. But I think she's trying to create an image of herself right now so that she can catapult that into who knows what career next.
Do we need Nikki Haley and Nikki Haley supporters in the Republican Party, or do we want them gone?
No, we need them. We just need them to see why the party is changing.
I think that her party, her Nikki Haley and Nikki Haley voters fit, and they fit in certain areas of the country, certain states.
What's the big delineation? Forget about Trump. Take Trump out of it.
I think that, well, for me, her biggest thing is it's more establishment business as usual kind of stuff.
But what does that mean?
Yeah, it's very much attitude. It's hard to pin down what that is. I will say the one big difference policy-wise.
Foreign policy
that I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say, is foreign policy. It seems to be that establishment Republicans tend to be much more about America's place in the world. And the kind of America First Republican would say, very much that. America first, let's deal with the other stuff second.
But America first doesn't mean America only.
Right.
It doesn't.
And I am America first, and I feel like that's where our focus needs to be. But I see value in having strategic positions across the world so that we can act quickly and so that we are also in a position, it's like keep your friends close and your enemies closer. The different places where we can have military presence, I'm not talking about nation building or nation destroying. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, having a military presence isn't by rule bad in my mind.
And that's a completely worthy debate. And I think it's one that's been happening.
I don't think it's bad in Trump's mind either.
No, I don't either. But I do think there is a difference in approach. And that's the policy difference that you were talking about, or asking for, is that there's a difference in approach between the old Republican Guard and the new Republican Guard to most foreign policy issues.
But I also don't think that Nikki fits in that as much.
I just think when I said take out the Trump factor, I think it's very hard to do.
Oh, yeah, it's very difficult.
Because he got his fingerprints on everything. About the YouTube live chat poll, does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Let's say Billy said, my answer is no. To be honest, I don't know why they are there to begin with, which maybe one of the things the party chairman needs to do is establish publicly why they are there to begin with. Ripper said, I said, yes, it matters, but not very much. Whoever it is will have to be or pretend to be a Trump sycophant. Jackie says, yes, it matters. Listen to We the People. That role is not about serving a small and select group of people. And Jack says, hi, Jack. Haven't seen you here for a minute. I care who the party chair is, and I'm glad to hear McDaniel is out. She was ineffective. So thank you to everybody who commented and also everybody who voted. Of the people who voted today, does it matter to you who serves as the party chairman? Brad, you said yes or no? Sorry. I pointed at Ryan.
I said yes, it does matter.
And you say?
Yes.
I say yes as well, and 71% agree. So, yeah, you care. We'll see what happens next if Donald Trump gets his way for who he wants to have be there. And Ronna McDaniel out after Super Tuesday. Mark Reardon in, coming up next. Don't go away.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify